The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. To all my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense. Alongside with me today, young RG Robert Garcia, the real AG Alex Givens, Coach Mike Dubb, the NFL Nation Live crew, Violator, Captain Jack Rackham, and yours truly, Ref Guru. Gentlemen,
Oh, good.
Indeed. Week 16 is upon us. The holidays are near. We got 3 games left to decide it all. And where would it lean? Where will it land? Some things are shaking up, some things are shaking out, and some things are just completely undecided right now. So let's go around the room, quick vibe check. Let's talk about how everybody's feeling today. Young RG, Robert Garcia, good sir. How you doing out there in your pot of blue?
Coach, you already know we're doing pretty good over here, man. Vibes are insanely high as they could be given the injuries and whatnot.
Absolutely. Best scenario we can possibly ask for. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Definitely that. Captain Jack Rackham, and you ducked down your Navy gear. The Captain Jack, you sir, I'm looking at you.
No, I'm here. I'm just making sure when I point to the said person, I says, just for this year. I think the Smugs now belong with that team.
Oh, no, you smug now?
See how easy it is to get that title, Robert?
What was smug about that?
Right. It's so easy. Just have pride in your team.
You know how we feel, and I be feeling like,
you already know. Doing is Tracy Morgan.
Oh man! Well,
get it popping. Hey, was I right? Was that a decent impression? You know how I feel.
All of a sudden, Robert's from New York now.
You got me switching coasts, man.
Right? Exactly. You know, you no longer in California. You're New Yorker now. Oh man, that's funny. But Captain Jack, good sir, how you feeling out there? Decked out your Navy gear. I see y'all there looking good.
Because this is a winning football team, a Commanders Cup winning team.
Fair enough.
I will say this, I am so glad that I did not go to Philly to be embarrassed again, probably standing, freezing my choo-choos off, watching another putrid, horrible. Oh my! I got to get some more adjectives for how bad And not good bad, like just like that. He be bad. No. This is a bad team. So I'm glad that I didn't have to do that. So again, I'll be in Philly probably to watch some baseball, but I ain't gonna go freeze my choo-choos off to watch a putrid, horrible, oh my effing god team.
I understand.
And I can say that because I'm a season ticket holder. So and I see the from Robert Pena just retire Pete. Maybe once Pete retires, then they will be able to compete. And the com is spelled COM, not what you guys were thinking.
Right. Easy.
I would surely hope so.
The first 15 minutes yet. Yeah, take it easy.
I'm just
Really, good sir. How you feeling out there? And my condolences to you and Patrick Mahomes first and foremost. I will say that now. Get that out the way because rough injury, regardless of competition and rivalry, is a rough injury to have, man. So I shout out to him and speedy recovery.
Yeah, man. Vibes, vibes are at the all-time low. It's just not good. So that I know we'll get into it later, but yeah, that was just the icing on the cake for what's been a rough year, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely that. But hopefully y'all bounce back. Like I said, we'll get into it in its entirety. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Violator, good sir. How you doing, good sir? How you feeling out there? What's going on over there in Raiders Nation?
I'm doing fine. Raider Nation, that's a whole separate show, but I'm doing well in spite of what we're seeing. Life goes on outside of that football, so I've seen it long enough to know how to pull back and just let everything in front of me do what it's going to do.
I understand. Good stuff. Ref Guru, good sir, the man, Mr. Legend himself. How you feeling out there?
Everything's good. This week, a lot of teams kind of trying to figure out what Detroit and Houston are going to do because that's going to affect a lot of the stuff that's going on. But yeah, it's a good time of year. And don't forget that although the officials have been being graded out all year long, the next 3 weeks going to do a lot to determine which officials will work the postseason.
Yeah, talk about it. That's
what
good.
What is he talking about this Detroit? It's Detroit. You imbecile. We've done a show for how many years? You know it's Detroit. Imbecile. Merde.
You said you weren't going to wear any hats.
Well, you
said his buzzword,
Come on. Well, that's true. I did. Yeah.
I did say the big D.
My bad. Word.
Yeah,
wow.
I got a chance to wear hat. I got some others until you give me the friggin' butt. You actually said another team, but I got to find that hat because a couple of them fell off.
So a lot of teams going to be interesting to see what Houston and the Michigan Wildcats do this weekend.
There we go.
Yes.
There you go. Indeed. Coach Mike Dub looking fresh and fit over there. No pun intended. How you feeling out there, good brother?
Doing good. Shout out, appreciate the look. Of course, had to represent. So yeah, definitely feeling good. First win in 10 weeks since week 5.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
It's been a long time since we've been in the win column. It was a completely useless win that put us lower in the draft stock, but it's okay. It was a divisional win, and we'll take it. We're in full evaluation mode right now. So
there's a lot. There's a lot to be excited about though in Washington. I mean, they're a sleeper right now, and they've had some injuries, I think, too. But that's going to be a team that's going to do well going forward.
I agree.
Hey, don't talk about sleeping around in Washington, man. We don't want to make this a
Wow.
Absolutely.
The easiest stuff, man. Come on.
It's a layup for you.
It was.
It is. Hey. I didn't say layup. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, being laid up and stuff.
You're going to miss me when I'm gone.
Cap, you're one of a kind, boy, I tell you. Indeed. So as we start this top of the show, typically when we have Ref Goober here, we're going to talk about some lovely officiating in the National Football League. So,
always.
A belly laugh.
It really is. I thought y'all had like that. I thought y'all get a kick out of that. So as we always like to do, we like to start off the show with our segment called As the ref. So I got something that's near and dear to my heart this week, and I've been waiting, and I picked the right show to talk about it because it did rear its ugly head this week in the Chargers Chiefs game. So first and foremost, I want to talk about, before we get into questions from the panel and or the chat, I want to talk about officiating targeting. There was some physicality in the Chiefs and Chargers game, to say the least. Cold weather game, but it didn't bother anybody. Everybody, strapped their cleats up real tight, put their hard hats on, and they went to work. Some heavy hitting out there, no pun intended, or pun intended, however you want to take it. And there was some chippiness out there that happened, and it was a bang bang play that happened in the Chargers game that they got flagged. It's helmet to helmet contact. Now, I wouldn't argue at all that the contact wasn't helmet to helmet. I'm not arguing that at all. What I'm arguing is the legality of how you officiated, one, and two, the idea of it being an ejectable offense, because that was another point of emphasis that came out of this game that it could have swung the momentum. In all honesty, it could have gone one way or the other when it came down to the idea of what happened in this game. And I'll show it as a clip here. Let me see here. Bring up the film room real quick. Get that going here. So yeah, I'm gonna take this down. Bring this up.
Oh,
so
you're doing your Phillip Rivers, dadgummit?
Yeah, that stuff.
In honor.
Yeah, in honor of him. So yeah, so clearly helmet contact, not disputable at all. Now, what my concern and my issue is with this particular play, it's a bang bang play.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Tyquan is jumping for the ball. He's coming down. He's lowering his catch radius, trying to limit the impact and trying to protect himself. And so is Tony Jefferson coming in. So yeah, clearly helmet to helmet. I mean, if you have to flag it, you have to flag it. But they not only flagged this play, but they ejected him from the game based upon this. And it wasn't a call on the field. It was actually called from New York. New York called down and said they wanted him ejected based upon this offense. Now, I'll also argue there was a compounding thing here because Tony Jefferson and Derwin James both clocked Rashid Rice early in this game legally. So I think that between those two, impactful hits and this helmet to helmet led to the ejection. Yeah. So from your perspective, how do you officiate this, and what is your points of officiating when it comes down to these plays, and what do you deem ejectable, from your perspective, and what's not ejectable?
Well, ejectable would be, really, I think, an egregious hit here. But to your point, I think that while this probably isn't really in the category of objectionable, I think what they're trying to do here is to let the teams know that any previous or any future chippiness is not going to be tolerated. So this was our opportunity to shut that down.
Okay.
I think that the officials on the field should have done a better job with that, just in their overall game management. But I think because he's not launching, I don't think it's objectionable. I think what you have here is you're right on all these points. It's a bang bang play. You got two players basically lowering themselves to minimize the impact, but you end up with impact as a result of them lowering themselves to try to minimize the impact. But I think that with regards to what the officials see on the field, they get 1 second to evaluate this. And I think the fact that the crown of the helmet from the Chargers player, clearly it's the Chiefs player basically directly in the head, they're going to hear that as much as anything, as much as seeing it. And I think that you'd be surprised at what you can hear out there for these types of plays and these types of contacts can do as much to draw the flag for you as an official as the actual visual part. But I think the fact that you have both of those combined, you have what we can't hear the sound here, but I can assure you that down there on the field that they heard that, and that they see the contact with the crown of the helmet into the Chiefs head of the Chiefs player directly. That's a flag. Now, could there have been ways to avoid that? Possibly, but when there are basically any doubt for player safety, we're going to flag it. They can argue, both sides can argue all day long about, hey, the players are trying to do this, the players are trying to do that. That's not a factor on the officiating front. You can take that up with the competition committee, the coaches, all that other nonsense. But we have a crown of the helmet. Basically, it's not even to the shoulder, or it's directly to the head of the Chiefs player. What allowed that to happen is not a factor in throwing the flag. The official has basically 1 second, but I can assure you that the sound and the contact directly to the head drew a flag, and it probably should have been a flag. We could argue that it should not have been, but the safetyness is the wild card in this whole thing, and everybody just has to go, well, it was a safety violation, regardless of all the mitigating factors there. Was it ejectionable? I think from the angle that we have here, the answer is no. But we don't know what was seen by the official and his or her angle that threw the flag. So with that caveat, maybe they saw something prior or before or during that we're not seeing. So we have to give them a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there. But just based on this, I wouldn't call that necessarily a ejectionable offense. However, if there was nonsense prior, the officiating might have New York may have said, we're gonna make a statement here and let the teams know that we're not going to take any more of this. And so I think all of those factors probably led to what happened. Again, we can always go back and forth and debate about the whys, the hows, and woulda, coulda, shouldas, and those are all valid arguments to a point. But in the 1 second that we have to evaluate this, given the probably the sound that occurred there, the positioning of the officials on the field, and the NFL making a statement here with the player being directly hit in the head with the crown of the helmet, we got what we got, and it's not my most favorite thing, but I think we have to defend it in this case.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey,
Yeah,
Ralph-
so I'm not defending the call from the helmet to helmet perspective. It happened.
Yeah.
The bang bang play.
Yeah.
I would like to see, as a moving forward point in this, in I guess the progressing this rule, because I've seen, is even in this season alone, that there's been in college and in pros there been intent involved. Like you've seen guys literally launch themselves helmet first, and it's almost like a missile or torpedo type of action.
Exactly.
And that's egregious to me.
And I think that's why, again, we have the one angle here. So I still got to put the caveat in there that we don't have the on-field angle. But based on what you're saying there, I agree this is not a defender that's trying to make a statement here. He's not launching himself. I think it doesn't rise to the level of ejectionable. But we have those caveats, and given that piece of it, and without the NFL's transparency, be able to say, well, this is why we did it. We may never know. So I know a lot of times in these conversations, I have to give you all four sides. But I think that's important for the fans to understand that there's nuances, there's rules, there's the philosophy, there's the implementation. All those things all factor in to whether we do and whether we don't. But again, notwithstanding the caveat of what the official saw is on the field, and I hear what you said about the ejection wasn't from the referee, so to speak, but from New York. I think that New York is probably just saying we don't want any more of that in this game, and I think I'm hedging that maybe that had more to do with it than the actual contact. But it is a crown of the helmet to the head of that receiver. How that happened, again, is another part of the debate. But the fact is, that's what we have, and I think we, for player safety and all that other stuff, we're going to just have to go okay, and that's what we have. And I don't like to have to defend that because this is football, it's contact sport, blah blah blah. Right. But given what the way it's done these days, I won't argue too hard against the fact that was an ejection. I think it's borderline, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and like I said at the top of this, I think it was the compounding of other things that happened with the
Yep.
Rasheed Rice hits,
Yep.
Rasheed Rice hits, and then
Yep.
this one kind of led
Yep.
to the idea that they wanted to quote unquote regulate the I guess you say the chippiness in the game, and that's
Well,
the situation, that adage.
I agree with you on that front, but the other part of this, and it's a good point, Coach, because the other part of this we don't have is what if any conversation the referee had with the official that threw the flag, and or any conversation the referee or the crew or the official that threw the flag in conjunction with the referee had with New York, if any, because I'm almost certain that the official that threw the flag was asked by the referee, the white hat, is it ejectionable? And if they ruled that it wasn't, New York obviously could step in and say it is, but they don't probably have the same angle or sound that official had that threw the flag. So either the official that threw the flag didn't really see the whole play, so to speak, but saw enough of it that he had a flag, but didn't warrant the ejection. Or again, New York is leaning towards a division game between these two teams, and saying, okay, no more chippiness, and here's your
You're killing me.
Yeah, here's your red flag for today.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then just the nuance of they have the whole idea of you get two offenses before you eject it. Like you have the one foul is punishable to the point where it leads to ejection, so you get two of those type of fouls. He didn't get that. He only got one foul in ejection. So the inconsistency of it and the way the deficiency going to put the Chargers in, because we were down one safety already from injury prior to the game. Then we lost one in the game. So by taking the third one, we're down to our own one starting safety and our backups. So,
and that's obviously an issue for the team, the franchise, and the coaches at this point. Unfortunately, the officials on the field, to a large degree, in New York, 100% really don't give a crap.
I see that. Yes.
Yeah. So I agree with your comments, and I think that's why when they go back to the competition committee, if they go back, this is one of those plays they're going to say, look, we got a situation here where there's two players actually trying to protect themselves, but as a result of that, we ended up with another collision. How do we want to change how we're going to officiate this? In the past, that answer has been no, we're not going to change that, because we don't want players hit in the head regardless of what everybody did or didn't do on the play. So then the coach is like, well, how do we coach that? Or how do we coach it out of the game? I don't know. It's a contact sport. We're not in a place where we can maybe resolve that at this point. But I can assure you that the officials are going to be like, I got helmet to helmet contact there, and I got a flag, and we're not going to try to argue that it shouldn't have been. The ejectionable part, they could probably have a conversation about that.
Okay. Yeah, because I think intent needs to be involved in that conversation if they do revisit it, because again, what your intent is to launch and hurt a person that's with your helmet, that's definitely egregious. But
exactly.
Play with a game that has a regulated amount of violence in it, it's really hard to punish a person for playing the game of football that you designed. So
well, and we've said this before, not only with this type of a play, but with this whole thing about them not knowing what a catch is anymore.
Yeah.
When you don't have a definition, you don't have consistency. When you don't have consistency, you have chaos. And so here we are.
There you go. Okay. Cap, you had something on this topic or add on?
Yeah, about 5 minutes ago, because you're killing all my timing. Okay. I said, first off, where was Ref Chippy this week?
I'd have to look at the schedule, but obviously not in Kansas City, or not in LA or Kansas City. Yeah. He's talking about, for those out there, he's talking about Bill Vinovich, who is one of my favorites. But we in our NFL Nation Live days, we nicknamed him Mr. No Chippy, because he didn't take any crap from anybody. Yeah, I mean, there's an old joke about the sitting bull, that that he went back to the store and says, I don't want any more of that John Wayne toilet paper. And the trader's like, what do you mean? He goes, that toilet paper doesn't take any crap off anybody. So, so basically, Bill Vinovich is Mr. No Chippy. But I'd have to look at the schedule, Cap. I'm not sure where he was. I don't remember seeing him over the weekend, but
Okay, that was and again, that's why I said you're killing me on timing, Coach. I didn't try to. I did try to wait until I was, because I don't like to. I swear I don't like to talk over people. I swear. The second thing is that you alluded to earlier that there was a play where Rashee Rice got, for lack of better terms, probably got his ass handed to him.
Twice.
Yeah.
You got clocked
It was
pretty good. Yeah.
Hockley, ref. It was Sean Hockley.
Oh, yeah, Sean Hockley's crew. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
So having said that, if that was earlier in the game in baseball, and I know this is a football show, but in baseball, when there is an event, the umpire will go like this, and he'll point at the one dugout, he'll go back and he'll point at the other dugout, says, "There's your warning."
Yeah.
Anything further is going to be you're going to be objected of what is it?
Ejected.
Ejected. Thank you. Objectionable. Ejected. There you go. Ejected. So if that kind of was it possibly, and we don't know this, but I said, does that occur by officials to basically give, this is your warning, that anything like that will be handled like that for the rest of the game? Maybe. I'm just questioning.
Absolutely. In fact, and if they're not doing that, that's when you get into situations like this where the game starts to get away from you. Although you can't control every little detail, you got a division game. You've got a team playing at home. It's fighting for their playoff lives. You got another team that's trying to stay up with Denver. There's all this stuff going on, and officials, I think you're right, should have done a better job in controlling everything in general. I'm taking a look right now at Hockley's crew. Hang on, give me 1 second. So his crew has average 63 years of combined experience. If the line judge or down judge through that, those are some pretty good officials in there. I'm really surprised that if they weren't doing that, that they should have. Although I can tell you that, Sean, of course, is Ed's son, so he's got pretty good pedigree. But I've been a little disappointed
again.
Yeah, I've been a little disappointed in some of what I've seen from Sean and his crew, that they don't do more of that. I would have thought that we get a little bit stronger representation, if you will, and on-field presence, and I'm not seeing that from him. Maybe it's just the games that I'm seeing, but that's a really good point, a good observation, Cap, that I think we are expecting different things than we're getting from him. It doesn't mean he's not managing the game well or the crew's not doing a great job, but Bill Vinovich has a reputation for being Mr. No Chippy for a reason, and I wish there was more of that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of annoyed me.
Wait, Robert's
Yeah. I was gonna say the thing that really annoyed me about it was the fact that, like you said early on, there wasn't any of those calls. Those hard hits on Rashee Rice, and I think Worthy had one too. There were no penalty flags thrown on any of them. And then, okay, finally you decide to throw a flag. All right, helmet to helmet. I'm fine with the call. But then to just eject him off of one, unnecessary roughness, to your point, if there were no warnings put out, these guys are just going to keep playing like how you've been calling the game.
That's an excellent point.
To kind of just flip it like that is a little rough on the defensive players, because you've been giving me the leeway all game, and now for this one,
and now it's a penalty.
Right.
Yeah. Now they could argue that those previous hits, although good ones, if you will, so to speak, from a football standpoint, were not necessarily helmet to helmet, which this one probably was. However, your point's still well taken, and we don't know that there weren't conversations going on. And in the course of the game, you got two teams trying to make it happen. Maybe there was conversations. They ignored those warnings. We don't know really what led up to that. So it's hard for the officials to enforce the, I told you so stuff, but New York's monitoring all those conversations, and maybe all of that stuff led up to that. And so there's a lot of stuff here that we don't know. We're making some assumptions based on, what we know. And I can tell you, we probably only know about 50%, which is the other 50% of the conversation we're having afterwards, which is these points that you're bringing up. Did the crew talk to them? If not, Why not? Should they have? All those things are all really good pieces. I can assure you that if I were the officiating VP, we would have had those conversations. And if they hadn't had those conversations, then that crew is going to get dinged up a little bit on their report card. But we don't know that they did or they didn't. I would hope that they did. Until we know, this looks like an egregious, use of power by New York. But given all the circumstances, maybe it wasn't. If it wasn't those things, then yeah, maybe it was over the top. But it's you guys are talking about all the things that are important. What I can bring to the table are just those other pieces that most folks maybe wouldn't know. Like, like Cap says, does the crew talk to them? Well, they better be talking to them, right? So there's a lot of things going on there with regards to that.
Yeah, there's a few things we don't know. I mean, just from face value, it did seem like an overreach in a abuse of power from the league. But and just thankfully it didn't have overall impact on the game per se. But those things can happen. And when you have games this vital, the Chargers fighting the playoff live, Chiefs were on their last win or go home type of scenario, that could affect the game one way or the other.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's a place for that. I think you should let the game play out the way it should, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with that at all. And if the players union wants to step in and say, look, we're willing to accept, some responsibility for some of these things, then that can all be arbitrated out, if you will. And there can be some sort of three-way agreement between the officiating, the league, which includes the competition committee and the players union, for how these things need to be officiated. There's probably not enough conversations involving all three of those entities that probably should be taking place. But you're right. You got players' lives, careers, and everything else on the line here. And you got 1 second to see one play. And, if they want to hide behind that it's a safety call, there's not much we can do about that.
Indeed. Okay. All right.
I got four things, and I had to put them down because I'm like that guy squirrel. I forget them real quick, so I actually had to put them down. First off, Gene Steratore can. I will keep the last of it frank.
Keep it clean.
He can get stuffed because he on the Army Navy game he actually brought out when it was like ready for a first down. He goes. He alluded to the index card, and I just wanted to go through my TV. For those who watch the Army Navy game, I just wanted to go through my TV and choke him and knee him in the nuts at the same time. That's as clean as I can keep it. Okay, that's as clean as I can keep it. Second off, you will see Bill Vinovich in the playoffs when there is a game that would inspire chippiness. You guys will see it. I'm sure Ref will go over it. When it comes down to the playoff time, is that the reason why Vinovich caught that game is because of possible illusion of chippiness that's going to be put in there. Third thing I wanted to say, DZ was talking about how the Chargers have been called dirty. And by the way, it's not Raider fans or that I know of, but it's like there is a big pool of people that have hated on the Chiefs for these several years for different things, but now they're hating on the Chargers for being a dirty team. I say that. Thank you. I guess that's the great way to do a golf clap on that. And the last thing is there was a question by Cool Kev that he wanted to have ref get. And again, I had to put it all on here because I was that I have to get them all out and for that. So I'm done until I get another one. I tried to keep it quick.
That's okay. What was Kev's question?
I just pulled it up for you.
Oh, okay.
I thought that Monday night game when Rodgers was bitching about a PI and then they called 12 men on the field from replay assist. He gave Pittsburgh the first down. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah.
But I thought it was interesting. It was very swept under the rug. They're like, well, and there's replay assist, first down. And they just
they're supposed to shut it down. That's not supposed to be a live ball foul anymore. If there's 12 men on the field, they're supposed to shut it down. And if they didn't shut it down and the play clock's not gone, replay assist can come in. And if I didn't see what happened there, But if they did, they did. And if the penalty was for 12 men on the field, I guess really what I'm saying here is it doesn't matter how they got penalized, whether it was New York, replay, the flags, the cheerleaders, it doesn't matter. 12 men on the field prior to the play clock expiring, then that's a flag. So I'm not sure what the question would be, but if the question was, can New York intervene?
I think it was more of a tinfoil hat observation.
Well, yeah, but yeah, we're in this weird time now because replay assist is they don't really they say they have rules for when replay can assist and not assist, and technically they do, but they use it for their convenience and to go, oh well, it's replay assist. Well, was it? So that's just their excuse now, because the official, I don't think the official role of replay assist has really been very clearly defined. I think it's been a roundtable discussion with, okay, yeah, they'll do this and they'll do that. Yeah, they'll help you with that or that. But I haven't seen anything in any book that says they can do this and they can't do that. And
well, and who knows how many of the developers of it are pushing people to use it in other stuff to show what it can catch.
Well, I think that's exactly what happened.
That's coming.
I think it's a conversation for another day, potentially, but that kind of raises a red flag for me because I thought that replay assist couldn't necessarily, generate another foul.
Replay assist is not technically allowed to throw a flag, if you will, or put a flag down, if you will. But we don't know. They could have called in and said, "Oh, Mr. Ref, did you have a flag on that? Oh, I thought so. Yeah, I thought I saw a flag on that."
Oh, that part. Okay, now I get it. Yeah,
I do now.
Oh, yeah, I got one for you. Oh, there it is.
I couldn't get it out.
I was looking for it over here. Thanks for letting me know where the flag was.
Yeah.
Can't get it out, can't get it up. Same thing.
Yeah.
The thing that's so funny about that 12 men on the field too is that same exact thing happened in the Chargers-Chiefs game. Chargers got called for 12 men on the field after the play had already concluded. The Chiefs were 2nd and 4, and then here come the refs waving in like, "Hey, actually, there was 12 men on the field on that last play. It's actually 1st and 5." And it's like, we just ran a play.
Yeah, and you know what they'll tell you is, "Oh well, we killed the play before the play went." No, that's a total.
They got their cop out statements to make.
This is what's wrong with a lot of what they're doing, because they're not going to be transparent. If you look, I'll tell you this to go with what you're saying. You can't let a play run and then say, "Oh well, we shut it down." If that's the officiating that we have here, that's a bush league. Yeah. I can guarantee you that if you're an NFL official and there was a play that's not supposed to be run, we shut that down. That we'd have had whistles going for 30 minutes if that's what it took to get everybody to stop doing whatever they're doing. No, we would have had 18 whistles out there. And there's only 7 officials. We would have had whistles blowing like crazy to shut a play down. There's no excuse for, "Oh, no, we blew it dead." No, you didn't.
There you go. Okay. Fair
enough. You didn't. I'll never believe that because I know what
Boger asking.
Exactly.
Yeah. We had a conference on that. And
that's a load of bull. Yeah. No. Wait. No. I'm never gonna believe that.
I need to pick my nose again, but I'm not going to pick it on screen. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's total. That kind of stuff, which is a really good point there. That's total BS. No.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Not at this level.
So what was the incident? It was saying that they said Kenneth Murray had his he checked his parlay before the defensive goal line stand because he ran up the entire wrong gap. To let them score in the Dallas game the other Sunday. So
I don't know what he was looking at.
I don't either. The guy
happy he's off our team.
I think that smelling salt's got a little too high up into the neurons.
The guy ran up the right B gap and he ran up the left A gap. That's how bad it is.
Mind you, it was a fullback dive and the halfback went to the right. So even if he was that's what I'm saying. I don't know what he was looking at
all.
We had that happen to us in 8th grade and we never saw that kid again. So I don't know.
Thank you. Exactly. And this guy's a pro.
First round
I
pick,
meant-
by the way.
I'm saying, man,
Where-
why
where
can't
was
I
this?
get paid millions to be bad at
It
my
was
job?
Kenneth
was
Murray in the Cowboys game.
Cowboys Vikings game.
Yeah. He ran
Yeah,
up
I
the
know.
right A gap. The other guy ran the
Oh,
left A gap,
It
and he
was
totally missed the play.
it was brutal.
On the goal line, no less, and he scored. So yeah, there you have it. All right. So anybody have any more questions for Ref Guru before we move on?
Amazing as always, Ref.
I
Indeed.
got to tell you, before we go, there's a lot of chatter about a few calls, but the one was the Rams.
Yeah, I was going to
game,
ask about the Parkinson.
You know what? That was
Yeah.
It goes to what you talked about last week.
That was an incomplete pass. The NFL's New York argued that, oh, well, he didn't have possession until he crossed the goal line. No. First of all, he never had possession. Second of all, if that's the case, it's an incomplete pass.
Yes.
At the very worst, it should have been down at the 1, but it was an incomplete pass. And if you look, here's the other thing about that play. If you look at it at the end, the ball comes out. So not only did they argue that, oh, well, he didn't have possession until he crossed the goal line, but they never said, oh, and he also survived the ground, which he didn't do, but likely didn't have a touchdown for the Ravens because he didn't take 85 steps after catching.
Yeah.
I mean, officiating is so screwed up.
It's brutal. It's brutal in these streets. I'm telling you.
I mean, that was an incomplete pass that would turned out to be a Rams touchdown, and I don't know how they can hide from that. But it was an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground. Look at the play. The ball hit the ground, so he never had possession of it. You can't not, and even then he would have been down by contact, right? But he wasn't even that. And then after it was over, the ball comes out. But they never said, oh, well, he also survived the ground. So he didn't make any of the, got to make a catch, get 2 feet down, or 1 knee equals 2 feet, or 1 butt cheek equals 2 feet. So he didn't make a football move, survive the ground, send his girlfriend flowers. No, he that was an incomplete pass, but likely didn't get a touchdown. So
Ravens fans are looking at it like, what?
I know, right?
Yeah.
What I got to do here?
Look at this.
We have to break somewhere, somehow. Yes, indeed.
I'll tell you what, we're going to get to the point where there's a game that really matters.
That's my problem.
An AFC, NFC championship game or a Super Bowl where, because they don't have this nonsense under control, a bunch of people are going to lose big time bucks on some game that really matters, and then they're not going to be able to ignore it anymore.
Absolutely.
Because somebody's going to sue the league and say, you ripped me off out of a whole bunch of money.
Mhm.
And this thing gets ugly really, really fast. So they really need to rein this in. They really need to figure out what they're doing, and they need to do it now before we end up with something in the playoffs that really ends up costing the team and a bunch of other people a whole bunch of money. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, and it'd be way
Kinda
worse
like
than
Jake
calling
Markloy last week.
wrong. Yeah. Way worse than calling a coin flip wrong. That's for sure. Indeed.
Heads. He said heads.
No, I didn't. All right. Good, sir. We appreciate you. Happy holidays. And ladies and gentlemen, as always, Ref Guru.
Enjoy the rest of the regular season, and we'll be back to the playoffs.
Indeed. Good, sir. We appreciate you as always, man. Well, we will see you
Good to be
down
here.
the road. Indeed.
All right.
All right, gentlemen, let's get into some headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right. So man, let's get right to it. Let's not belabor the point anymore. Let's just get it out in the open. We got to talk about the injuries, right? We're in the headline segment. So we're talking about the impact, right? Patrick Mahomes and Michael Parsons both went down this week. Unarguably to me, the best players on both teams. They lose them to ACL injuries. Patrick Mahomes has the LCL and ACL. I think they just called Micah's an ACL. So we're looking at anywhere between 9 to 12 months of recovery for both gentlemen. Very, pushed up very much against the start of the next season, right? So, let's get some opinions. I'm going to start with Alex, obviously, because I want to get his take on Mahomes' injury and how he feels about it. We're going to start with him and go around the room. And you guys tell me, what do you feel like this impact of these injuries is going to be on the team, not only temporarily, but long term? Let's start with the real AG.
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously both very impactful, detrimental injuries to their squads. Like I said at the start of the show, Mahomes was just the icing on the cake because it quite literally was the last drive to try to save their season, and that's the result. Just kind of a kick in the nuts for how the season went. But I don't know too much about Micah's in terms of what else was torn or the severity of it or anything like that. But at least I thought it was weird that Reed said post game it was just the ACL, and then they do the surgery and find it was a little LCL too. But that's not totally uncommon because it's a very compacted area, and some of those ligaments can be like partially torn, and they don't really know it until they get in there.
Right.
But he has already had his surgery, so. He is quite pressing it up onto the window of being available next year. Rest of the season, man, like I think I said to you guys, like if I was the Chiefs, I'd just play everyone young, see what you have. If you lose everything, so be it, because you'll have the highest pick you've had since 2013 and can try to retool the roster. But I do have every bit of confidence that Mahomes will be back to the start of next year. Barring any setbacks, because we've seen, he's already had the surgery, so, there's no delay with that. And really, it's just as someone who went through an ACL surgery themselves, I know what that rehab is like. And, it's really just about getting your mobility back. And he's got, 8 months to do that. It was already very, very Tom Brady-esque in how conscious he was with protecting his body and preserving his body and being flexible. So I'm confident with him being back at the start of next year. So I don't see it as a totally detrimental thing to the Chiefs long term. Now, obviously, we don't know if it's going to be the same Patrick Mahomes that returns. But I think with the advances in medicine and rehabbing and the cryotherapies and all other types of therapies people do now, like we see people, it's not as detrimental as it was 10 years ago to tear your ACL. It's not every one of them turns into Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? Like we saw Adrian Peterson tear his ACL in 2012, came back in 7 months and rushed for 2,000 yards. So it can be done. And I think Mahomes is the type of person to have that type of return. Now, with that being said, he cannot play the same type of football he's been playing for the past 3 years in Kansas City. And I hope that Kansas City knows that and understands that and makes the appropriate moves this offseason and maybe even next to build around him more so that he doesn't have to be the guy to mask all the problems with the team. That's Mahomes, with Parsons, obviously very detrimental as well, because he was like leaps and bounds ahead of everyone on their team in sacks, pressures. They gave up a lot of draft capital for him to be the driving force for their season. They still are in the hunt right now, but a major factor that they anticipated having all year and into the playoffs is not going to be there, and I don't know that they have all the tools to adjust.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Coach Mike Dubb, I'm going to get your NFC side and your take on Michael Parsons injury in particular, because you are the one lone NFC representative on the pod in this particular juncture. But definitely give your insight on more what you feel like from a Mahomes perspective and Parsons as well. And how do you feel about these injuries and the impact it's going to have on the teams? You muted.
Yeah, well, based on the two, I think the Packers are probably in a little bit of a more peculiar position. And the reason why I say that is because if I'm the Chiefs, worst case scenario, well, first and foremost, like AG said, there's a good chance that Mahomes probably can be back by the start of next season. So it's not like they have to go into full panic mode or anything like that, or say that they're out of it for next season or anything like that. But worst case scenario, even if he's not ready by the start of next season, you could probably go out, find yourself a capable, backup quarterback just to hold it down. He will be back before, at some point during next season. So, they can switch up their offensive scheme, go off to, a little bit more of a run heavy, center offense, whatever. They can figure things out just until he gets back. Where the Packers, I'm not sure if Micah will be able to, because obviously the position he plays, the style of play, he has to have that bend to be able to get around the corner and that explosiveness, that quick twitch off the line that makes him special. I think it's going to take him a little bit longer to kind of make that impact of what they brought him in there to be. So I think the Packers are probably going to have to address it at some point, maybe in the offseason. And as far as this year goes, clearly they're going to feel the impact of it. I think that immediately takes them from being a contender to, okay, well, let's see what else they're going to have to do. They're going to have to step it up in other ways. Other guys are going to have to step in and fill in those voids. So I definitely think that the Packers are going to, feel the immediate impact. And it's hard to say that they're going to feel it more than the team that's losing their quarterback, their MVP quarterback. But of course, the Chiefs being out of it for this year, the chances that he'll be back next year, and even if he's not, being able to find a capable, backup to just hold it down. The Packers, I think, will feel a little bit more of the impact because of what Micah means to their defense, and like I said, because of the injury and how that affects his position. It's just going to be interesting to see how they can roll with it, and then also they're being in that tough division with the Bears right there. So, if I'm the Bears or the Lions, I'm loving it right now because, this is what was going to put the Packers over the top. And with Micah, they were my, NFC favorite, in my opinion, one of the top teams in the NFC aside from the Rams. So now this just opens the door for the rest of the conference. We'll see if Jordan Love can put it on his shoulders, but defensively, the impact that Micah had, I don't think that could be replicated, at least not this year.
Yeah, and I think we're not, I guess you could say quantifying the whole entire totality of the hit to the defense because they lost Devontae Wyatt. They traded Kenny Clark, one. Mm-hmm. Their best run stopper, the second best run stopper, Devontae Wyatt, is hurt for the season. Then you add Micah's injury to that. You lost three big-time players on that defense, to compound the problem. So I definitely agree with you that they're going to. It definitely shrinks the idea of them being contenders in this particular outfit of 2025 for sure. I definitely agree to that. Violator, what is your take on this particular avenue of injuries, and how do you feel about these particular guys going down and what their impacts are?
Well, both of these impact both teams tremendously, but I don't think in KC's point, there's not a lot of panic because, like I say, right now, Minshew is the bag up, and they can keep system just as is going forward, going into next season, until Mahomes is fully ready to come out there and take over where he left off. Now, with the Packers situation, like you say, with the other two defensive players that's missing, and with Parsons going down, his might be a slow recovery. So that's going to hit them right now because that may knock them out of the race, having those holes right there in the defense that other contenders are going to target, guaranteed. They're going to target that.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going to try to get after those weaknesses in that defense because, again, the only noteworthy name that you have on that defense now is Lucas Van Ness and Rashad Gary. That's it.
Rashad Gary, yes.
That's it.
Absolutely. So
your interior line is decimated for sure.
Yeah, so whoever the Packers are playing in these next 3 weeks is hunting season. That's the way those teams are looking at it.
That's a fact. That is a fact. Okay. All right. Young RG, what you got on this topic? How do you feel about these injuries and what the impacts are?
Yeah, first I'm going to start off by saying, obviously, I absolutely feel for Mahomes, and I get it, division rivalry, all that, but I mean, you never want to win a game like that where the star player on another team goes out, at the precipice of the game being over.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could definitely. I'm not even a Chiefs fan, and you could just feel the energy just got ripped out of that stadium the minute he starts limping off. And I mean, Minshew, yeah, they were in position to kick a field goal potentially, but as soon as Minshew came in, I don't think any Chargers fans were worried about losing the game. They were just like, damn, to see Mahomes go down like that. I mean, you really no, and it's not cap, you truly want to beat other teams when they have all their pieces that are available, because you never want to come out from a game being like, well, they didn't have this guy, so the win kind of gets discounted. You do want both teams ideally to be at full strength. So it is rough. Obviously, yeah, I'm taking the win 100%. I'm not going to complain about a win, but it feels a little rough when you win in that regard. And to everybody else's point, yeah, the Chiefs season's done at this point. So Mahomes getting down, like Alex said, it's just basically the icing on the cake at this point for a season from hell for Chiefs fans.
Well, I think he likes icing. I don't think it was icing. It was more something,
Yeah, maybe a big steaming pile of shit. Yeah.
The black excrement type topping.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So that's rough. But for Chiefs fans, I don't think they're too upset about it. If anything, you might be a little bit happy because now it's like, hey, maybe we get a higher draft pick now if we lose out the season. But I'll leave it at that. It was rough, and yeah, obviously that really does suck for Chiefs fans and Mahomes. For the Packers, man, I mean, this is just such a brutal injury, man. I mean, like, you're in a dogfight in your own division. Forget playoffs. You're in a dogfight for your own division with the Bears of all teams. Playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. You talk about playoffs. So now, I mean,
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. I just hope we can win a game.
I did not know you had that. That's excellent. That's beautiful.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, we don't even know if we're gonna.
I'm getting them ready for you. Yep. Go ahead. Sorry, Rob.
I don't know. No, you're good. I don't know if they're even going to make the playoffs at this point, just given how brutal that NFC is right now.
That's not a bad take. It's not hot. It's lukewarm, but it's not hot.
Yeah, I was thinking about waiting to save that for our hot takes, but man, I mean, and the way Jordan Love is playing, I mean, we said at the beginning of the season when they traded for Micah, Love, this is all on you, dog. You got your defense, you got weapons, you got an old run game.
Yes.
Yep. So, I mean, hey, if you're that guy, if you're that $250+ million guy, you got to come through and to throw 2 picks. Did he have any touchdown passes this past week?
I think one.
Yeah, I saw
I'm sure you guys know that stuff.
I didn't start him, Cap, so I wasn't sure. Let me know.
Threw one to Jacobs. I had Jacobs. I can tell you that.
Oh, so he threw. Okay, yeah. So one touchdown.
I know Jacobs.
One touchdown, 2 picks.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw that.
And
catch.
I get it.
I know he got you.
It's the Broncos. They're a very tough defense. I totally understand that, but I mean, you got to come through for your team, especially when an injury like that happens. So I really don't know about the Packers this year, man. That is a horrible loss.
Agreed. All right, Cam Jack, bring us home. How do you feel about this particular set of injuries?
Oh, you might not like what I'm going to say, but first off, as far as the for the Broncos, I had the Packers in an upset, and they were winning. They were winning until Micah went out, and then that just blew my bet. Yeah. And the other what was the the Rams game? I also lost money on that because I figured Detroit. Detroit. See, I haven't said it myself. Wow. See, I'm sure that other guy Detroit was going to hang within 5.5, and they blew that like a I won't say that's just too obvious. But anyway. As far as for Patrick Mahomes, I think that this is God, I can't even say it without saying this is not hate. There are a lot of people that is hating on the injury just because of who Patrick Mahomes is. Now, I heard from a lot of different people. No, not even me. This is just the way I know that the line that he went like that. I caught you, mother. Anyway, that's your number one. That's for you. But no, it's not, because I heard from a lot of people when I was there in Kansas City how wonderful a person he is. So the people that don't get a chance to see Patrick Mahomes in and around the area, it's unfortunate because he's from what I understand, a great guy. Now his brother. Or his father, there's a lot of different negative things about that, and I'm sure that Real will say that's true. But I don't know about his wife either. I'm just going to stay away from that. But this is the other thing about.
Damn, dude! Guy tears his ACL. We're going after his wife and family.
Well, but here's the other thing though, because he is this generation's version of Tom Brady, where everybody hated Tom Brady. Everybody hated Tom Brady. And this is the new version of everybody hates Patrick Mahomes, a guy who has a lot of ability, but who the NFL has put up there in the golden status of you can't touch him. So he gets a lot of great things that way. Remember how he would go to the sideline and do a little shimmy juke, here, hit me so I can get that penalty. There's a lot of hatred there. And I will say this because I admitted it. When I saw that he was hurt, and I'm not going to go back on what I said it was something that I would not wish for. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. But at the time, I'm like, well, good. Okay. the one good thing about the injury for the Chiefs is that they're going to have to figure out that you can't have a backup quarterback who is a booger boy or Carson Wentz, or the guy that they had several years ago, which was actually good. And I can't remember what his name is. He finally retired. The Chiefs are going to have to figure out they actually need to have a viable backup quarterback to run their team.
Or was it Chase Daniel?
Chad Henne or Chase Daniel?
Henne, right? Henne.
Chad Henne.
Chad Henne was a viable quarterback, and he was decent, okay? And they haven't had in my estimation, I'm sure real Alex would tell me I'm wrong or whatever, but I don't think they've had a viable quarterback since Chad Henne. I mean, Carson Wentz was a bubblegum guy. And
I don't know. How many teams have a viable backup that
not many.
You're like, oh, this guy could be my starter.
They're a backup for a reason.
Some people have a good starter, so
I get what you're saying, but that's like a luxury.
The thing is that, hey, you know what? Vince Evans is probably still available, and he was a viable backup for the Raiders when they had somebody that they need. And I know that's a joke because Vince was playing into his 40s, but damn it, he was actually a decent quarterback that you could. So you're going to have to look at Booger. Booger is not the answer. So you're going to have to go out and find somebody that's going to have to carry your team next year. But this is the other thing that people were saying is this the time for Andy Reid to, check his, yep, it's about that time. We don't know. And we kind of know that maybe this is the year that Travis says, yeah, my girl told me I need to leave at this point, So there's going to be a possible lot of, ins and outs in the Kansas City organization. So be standing by for that one. Again, like I said, I admit it. When I saw the injury, I said, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody, but I was like, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. But that was before I knew it was an ACL. And now I'm hearing it's ACL, MCL, PCL. That's AFU. I see how I did all of those.
That's wrong though. It was just the ACL, LCL.
Yeah.
Okay, but
a complete wreck of his knee, but still a wreck.
But still, it was more than just the ACL. So hey, the Chiefs, just like we said before, they're not done. Okay, and if they have that guy at quarterback, they can make a good effort next year as well. The question is going to be how quickly can he be brought into this, into having the Chiefs there. I don't think he's going to be ready by the beginning of the year, but I think you just have to have somebody that's going to be able to have you hang on for about maybe the first 5 games, and that's on a good thing. It's have somebody hit you for about the first 1/3 of the season per se, and then you bring in Mahomes. And you can mark me as that's my hot take. But I don't think he's going to be ready by next year. And if he is, he's probably rushing stuff.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as a close to this segment. There's definitely some angst about the injury because they did discover the LCL in the surgical procedure. There wasn't something that they saw, imaging or scanning. So that's added to it because you talked about Carson Wentz because this is actually the exact same injury that Carson Wentz had when he tore his ACL and LCL with the Eagles when that Super Bowl run. And it did take him quite a bit of time to, air quote, bounce back from the injury. And I would argue that, they're the same type of athletic quarterback prior to the injury. Carson Wentz was a mover as well, in that space. So I guess we can use that as kind of a blueprint of how long it may take Mahomes to get back. I don't doubt that he's going to work hard. I don't doubt that he's going to push himself to the maximum limit that he can to try to get back. But I think because of his age and where he's at in his prime of his career, I think he needs to look at the long-term, prospects of his career being, into his 35, 40-year-old, realm, than trying to force himself back earlier and maybe cause himself more issues. Because I saw a doctor on Twitter today talking about the idea that Carson Wentz forced himself back and he didn't re-injure his actual leg, but he injures other things. So
compensating
that is a factor. So to a lot of y'all's point, to Cap's point as well as others, he should definitely play the long game in a sense. If they get a viable backup in there for a few games, I think Andy and that group can quote unquote hold things down. and that will, give him buy him some time so he can come back fully healthy and confident in that leg. Because as a person that's talked to a bunch of people, including Alex and a bunch of people that have had ACL surgeries, I've only had a meniscus, but I've had people that talk to me that have ACL surgeries, and this is just ACL, not the LCL or anything else. They said it takes them 24 months to feel like themselves. So you got to factor that in as well. Just from a doctor perspective. In that particular case. So I would look at it from that perspective too. And anybody that's kind of quote unquote hating on Patrick Mahomes, I think that you're projecting in certain aspects of it, in my opinion, because I think you just don't want him to be around, just like they didn't want Brady to be around. So you have a chance. Your team has a chance to be viable and can be competitive while he's out. So I think that's a little bit of that.
If I didn't get that across, I apologize. That was basically a point that they hate on Mahomes because of his ability and what he's done. Okay. But he's also, just like Brady, he also kind of had the NFL kind of putting him on a pedestal, like, oh, don't touch Patrick, don't touch Tom Brady. So that's gone for next year.
Right. And both tore their ACL in year 9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. How about that?
I will say too, for the Chiefs, I think the biggest thing, like not even just like trying to look at towards next year, but Mahomes is their rushing attack.
I know.
Like he is their leading runner. He was
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I mean, like it really, like, and to Cap's point, if Mahomes is going to be out for let's say the first month and a half of next season, your only chance to stay alive somewhat is to hopefully the backup plays well enough to win you at least 2 or 3 of those games, and B, to help your backup quarterback, you're going to need to get a run game going, because if that same O-line and those 2 same running backs go out there again next year, Chiefs are going to be in for a world of hurt.
Well, I mean, they also
stay with Booger. Stay with Booger. Please stay with Booger. I implore you, stay with Booger. I hope
if Patrick Mahomes isn't playing, I hope to God they sign Jameis Winston, because I at least want to be entertained.
That'd be great.
That would be a fantastic signing.
I love that.
I can see it.
I could totally see that too. That is a great point.
I love that.
I think we're going to go after Jameis first. Okay, I really do.
You're a draft guy with your number 1 or 2 pick,
right?
Yeah, but you need to have somebody in the shop to teach him the right way.
The Raiders aren't going to do it that way. Come on,
AOC
they're going to start him immediately. Come on, you know it. I know it. The chat knows.
My hot take, damn it! My hot take was the fact that okay. I'm shooting my load now. Okay. Shoot my load now for the hot
early
take,
as always.
Okay?
Hey, we are an hour in. You're good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Jameis is going to be the quarterback for the Raiders, and they are going to draft a quarterback round 1. I don't know if it's going to be. That's the other portion of the hot. I don't know if it's going to be the people where they're saying Mendoza or more. If more comes, I don't know. But I think that Jameis Winston is going to be the Raiders quarterback next year. They're going to say, we've had enough of Geno. He was a bad nightmare for us, and they're going to get rid of it.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry. You gave me the opening. I had to shoot my load there.
Okay.
Double tap on the load there.
I know, right? You stay away from the blue pills.
It was just dust after the
like a puff of air. Just
that's ageism and cockism.
Okay, we go off the rails now. All right, let's get back on the tracks here. Let's move on down the line. So we talked about the injuries, and let's talk about another sad story in the AFC. Let's talk about the state of the AFC North. What happened? What happened where we're looking at a perspective that clearly the Browns are just perpetually bad. The Bengals, 3 or 4 years ago now, I think we at this point they were in the Super Bowl conversation. They're no longer there. They still going right, but luckily. And then they are, now they got Joe Burrow making controversial
retirement,
right? Controversial statements at the podium. That's a mess. The Ravens, we just can't seem to figure them out, and I don't think they can figure themselves out, which is the biggest problem. And then you have the Steelers with the aging and old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and we don't know what they are either. So Let's start with Coach Mike, though. What do you feel like the state of the AFC North is at this point, and do we feel like it's going to get any better anytime soon?
It's really embarrassing for a few different reasons. First of all, and let me just start out by saying this. I gotta get this off. I've never been a caper for for Shador or for anybody else or that whole situation. Just talking about the Shador situation, I wasn't one of those people that he could do no wrong and all this stuff like that. I understand he had to go out and prove it. I've never seen an organization be so hell-bent on somebody's failure as I've seen with Cleveland. I don't know if you guys heard this or saw the reports that they apparently gave him the wrong wristband, or there's a miscommunication with the wrong wristband.
That's boys.
That's
boys
inexcusable.
It's
inexcusable. That doesn't happen on any level to your starting quarterback. On any level.
Never.
Yeah, really. You know what I mean? And to be honest, like, this is a franchise that really should be investigated for malpractice, because I've never seen them put somebody in a situation where all odds are against them to succeed. When they do, when he does do well, whatever, it's cryptic, comments made by the head coach, or cryptic, kind of body language towards him and all that stuff. Even if you don't have to go up above and beyond to give him his credit and all that stuff like that, you have to know that the eyes are on you. Everybody's talking about it. At least show them some love so you can get that one less question you have to answer in the offseason, whatever the case is. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I do think that they need to be called out as an organization for what they're doing to set up, their team. They're just not. I feel like there's a lot of things that may come out later on, maybe years down the line or whatever the case is, but it just doesn't look right in Cleveland, and I don't like it. I don't like how they're setting guys up for failure. That's one thing. Then you move on to Cincinnati. Nobody looks like they even want to play for Cincinnati. Like, they don't even look like they want to, the whole ordeal in the offseason. They don't look like an organization. Any of the guys are happy to be there. I won't spend too much time on them because it's just terrible.
Uninspiring football. Uninspiring.
It's uninspiring football. Is no sense of, maybe they'll be better next year, whatever it is. Like you said, Joe Burrow is probably killing his career. Right now he's just, thinking about his future, all kinds of things. And that's never a good time. He's supposed to be entering his prime right now.
Should be.
And instead he's contemplating if he even wants to play, because an organization like that will just take all the joy away from it. Then you move on to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is just, the chickens are coming home to roost when it comes to the, them not addressing certain things and with their roster and deciding to go with the aging vet and Aaron Rodgers. They're still alive because nobody wants the division. But, if you look at it, Aaron Rodgers, he's getting knocked around as little as, first of all, look at his chin strap. I haven't seen that chin strap since 1996. I didn't even know that they still made those chin straps for the helmets that they have now. Listen, I looked at him, I think it was yesterday. He got hit and the chin strap fell off, and he's just had this look on his face like, why am I here? You know what I mean? But it literally, he's getting knocked around.
I have not seen,
really.
I haven't been paying attention. I'm gonna have to look now.
Okay. Watch his chin strap. It's a chin strap that you literally have not seen since Dan Marino or whenever. But it's the old school one. Either way. Yeah. But either way, like I said, we talked about them kind of leaving some areas unaddressed, and I think that's going to come back to haunt them, even if they are able to back into the playoffs, because like I said, nobody wants a division. Then that'll be there. So, the lone team that probably has something to look forward to is the Ravens. They struggle with consistency, but obviously if they could get healthy, then I think that they may be able to do a little something possibly. So that's the lone team that just by default is not a total, embarrassment to the league, but everybody else is just, it's sad to see. It's bad football. It's uninspiring football. And it's disappointing because coming into the season, there were talks about, possibly almost every team being able to compete, or at least aside from the Browns being able to at least, contend for a playoff spot. And now it's just, we're talking about 3, if not all 4 teams almost being an embarrassment to the NFL, at least how they handle things off the field and on the field as well. So I have nothing good to say about the AFC North at all.
Well, yeah. Listen, I want to end with that. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm good with it.
Doug broke it down completely and concisely. I'm not sure if I can top that.
Only thing I'm going to add to that is
No.
the only fun thing about the AFC North right now is to see if Myles Garrett's going to break the single sack record for a
That's
season.
the only
Yeah.
fun.
That's it.
That is the
On
only
a
good thing.
3-11 team.
Yes.
Like
No.
crazy.
And I think that's what the
They
thing
hired
that
a
frustrates
baseball
me the most.
analyst to be their GM. You know,
Right.
You know, and
Yeah, exactly.
the Moneyball guy.
What's we
I'm
doing?
telling you, like it's crazy. And that's the frustrating thing is that there's so much talent in the AFC North. You have arguably the best receiver in the AFC North, arguably the best defensive player in the league in the AFC North. Both are wasting their careers away in their respective, towns. You have a two-time
Two of the best
MVP.
quarterbacks.
Right,
You
best
know,
The best
league ever.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winningest, the team with the most Super Bowls in history and all that, it's just all kinds of things, and it's just throwing it away because I don't know, it's frustrating because and when I talk about Cleveland, we're talking about the integrity of the game now, you know what I mean, and just you got people that really invested, not even just the players but the fans that have poured their hearts out into this team, and to see a front office and coaching staff and whatever else is going there play these little political games or whatever games because they don't like a certain player or just not put a player up for success. It really, kind of bothers me because now you're talking about the integrity of the game and, just play football. Just play football. If they just worried about football, I think a lot of these teams would be in a lot better place. But, that's it for my soapbox on the AFC North.
Yeah. Listen, it was a great one. It was a great one.
Not much you can add.
Yeah, right. Listen, like we just let you just ISO'd on you.
Just got the Steelers puncturing their own players' lungs too. That's
Mike just waved us off. He's like, "Hey, I got this, y'all."
Seriously though,
Man,
I wish the Chiefs were in the North this year.
Right, still be in the
hunt.
Still be in
How do you think it feels about the Chargers, man?
Somebody's gonna have first place with less than 10 wins. Watch this.
That could be very true.
They probably went through that.
They do a bunch of playing each other in the next 3 weeks, so you very much could be seeing that. Yeah,
I think whatever team comes out of that's going to just limp into the playoffs.
Yeah,
because no team will be
going to be the
confident.
Steelers. I mean,
one and done.
It's going to be bad. It's not going to be good.
And then it's going to beg the question that it's been thrown around where do you just take the top 7 teams instead of division winners because you're going to have.
We argued that in the past. We argued that in the offseason. We did argue that in the offseason. We talked about that heavy in the offseason. You're right about that.
You can't have Tulane getting into the playoff,
Yeah,
right. Chase Madison, JMU. Yeah,
I don't think the league really cares about that when it comes to playoffs because they're thinking the more games they can put together, that's more money.
Yeah.
That's all I think.
And they're always going to keep the division ones because those are, primo end of year, essentially playoff games to some degree.
Right.
True.
So,
and okay.
Are you saying that football is about money?
Oh, very much so.
Football is all a ploy to sell you food. Haven't you seen the ads?
That was my next one. Damn it! Stop it!
I got you. I'm up here, man. Turn the air down, will
you? Baker.
Hey,
don't
you know what?
That man does bake.
You're number one to me too. Okay, I will say that you're number one to me too. I won't put it on
I have
screen.
to say this. You can't spend all this time with people and expect not to the jokes not to catch on with the rest of the group. Now I'm just going to have to say
I'm not an idiot, Cap. As much as I present myself as one at times.
I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
Indeed. Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, are we good with
that was my next one. That was my next one. Okay.
I'm good to end it.
Okay.
Is it North? I got two
rebuttals on the AFC.
Yeah, just two things. First off, you said that the black and blue division you said was the AFC North. Thanks for playing. It was the old NFC Central with the Vikings, the Bears, the Packers, and the Lions. Sorry, thanks for playing. But you're close. But it was the old NFC Central, which is now the NFC North. Okay.
No, yeah.
And I only because you got me here for something. And I wanted to ask, did anybody else see that one of the reasons why maybe that Shador is getting screwed over is because that his father threw water on Tim McCarver years ago when he was doing an interview, and Tim McCarver is Kevin Stefanski's grandfather.
That's a myth. That's not true.
I looked into that.
Yes, that's a myth. That's not true.
That is deep fake.
I know why they're screwing over Shador is because he was the second QB drafted.
I saw that and was like, well, damn, there's your answer. And then I'm Googling around. It's like, yeah, it's not
no, I'm glad you, because I didn't have a chance to look into it. I was going to, but then I actually had something important to do. So that's why I didn't do it. But yeah, if Kevin Stefan, okay, I was just saying, if anybody else caught
Stefanski has it out for Shador because the owner stepped in and made him draft him.
100%. And because Dylan Gabriel, his choice of quarterback did not pan out.
Unadulterated ass.
Listen.
You got infighting right there in the house. That's a tug of war with your QBs right there.
Which we'll bring up in a later show that we're going to have to talk about what's going to happen.
Which goes to Mike's point.
Who's got to go, Shador or Kevin? Who's got to go? Somebody got to go.
Yeah. And if I'm the owner, I'm sorry. Nobody on this coaching staff is getting back on this plane.
Hell no.
I don't even know if it was a home game, but whatever it is, you got to go. It's just an excuse. That's a laughing stock.
That just goes to your malpractice, Doug.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost to the damn Titans.
What team trades for the most radioactive quarterback in the league at the time and gives him the highest guaranteed contract of all time, and then not even 2 years later drafts two quarterbacks in the same draft?
Like, yeah. It's like, come on.
What are we doing?
I think the Bengals and the Browns need to be investigated for malpractice if we're talking about it, because there's just
the Bengals are just cheap.
Well,
the guy's just cheap. That's all it is.
He didn't even want to shovel his own snow. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I think Dub nailed it, man. I think if you haven't watched Dub's breakdown, ride this back about 10 minutes, about the hour and 10 mark. He completely crushed the state of the AFC North. Can't do any better.
We got our short for this week.
That's for sure. He buried that. He definitely killed it. So yeah, shouts out to you, Dub. But all right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about some fun facts here. Get into some topics here that we want to get into here. It's going to be a good one. We talked all year about how we didn't know anything. Now we quickly and vastly learned a lot in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So we're gonna go around the room and do a quick, I guess you can say, check-in with the group and talk about what have you learned in 2025. It is getting close to the holidays. The holiday schedule is coming up fast. Things are going to be moving around differently. So this is a perfect time when we have a full group here to get, I guess you can say, a temperature check on what have you learned all the way up to week 16 in the NFL. So I'm going to start with young RG, Robert Garcia. Tell me, good sir, in its totality in the 2025 calendar year of football, what have you learned from the NFL?
Absolutely nothing. I'm joking. Up until this week, it probably was absolutely nothing.
Right.
But I think, I don't want to say if it's something I've learned, but it's something that has constantly shown up in this age of offenses are just carrying the league and carrying each team. I think you're starting to see a bit of a flip in the ways that teams are starting to attack that, and you're starting to see a lot more of these top tier defenses winning games for these teams, even with these great quarterbacks. I mean, the Broncos, the Chargers, Packers up until they lost Parsons, the Rams, the Patriots, like all these top contending teams have great lockdown defenses, or they are great in a certain aspect. The Bills have one of the best, I think the best passing defense in the league. Obviously they have one of the worst run defenses, but when you're the best in something, those numbers kind of, they're a little bit untrue, to say the least. But yeah, I think we're really starting to see teams just fully embrace that defensive side of the ball and go all in on that side of the ball to stop these superstar quarterbacks or these, superstar players on the offensive side of the ball. We just to bring up one team to kind of carry over from last topic, the Bengals. I mean, they pushed all their chips into the center of the table, investing in that offense and giving Burrow what he wanted. And I think we can all say that was the biggest mistake they could have ever done. We all said it when it happened, but now just seeing how this year has unfolded, I mean, that's more true than ever. So I'm just I'll keep it short with that. But yeah, I think defenses, you're going to start to see this year. You've seen it, and we'll probably see it in the next coming years, that defenses are going to start to take over this league. It's not going to be so much of, can our superstar quarterback carry us to the promised land? It's going to be, can this defense carry us to the promised land?
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Alex, you're up next. I'm gonna let Dub go first because he might steal a whole show again.
He needs to cool down a bit. He needs to cool down a bit.
Too hot. It's too hot.
Yeah.
I do. That what Robert's point was some my backup one. If mine got taken, that I think we are seeing a shift to defenses being more dominating again. To combat the kind of offensive spree we've seen here the past few years. But I think what I've learned is that I think this is the Bills' year, man. I think it's finally getting right at the right time. They beat the Patriots. Just looking at the potential AFC slate of playoff teams, I mean, Josh Allen's going to be the proven commodity on that side of the ball. It's all looking good for them to make a deep run, and the team that has been in their way every year is not even going to be there. So I think the script is starting to get writ pretty well for Josh Allen to at least get to a Super Bowl.
Well, I tell you this, of all the thorns in the side are gone and he don't get it done this year, will he ever?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Maybe that's some of it too. He kind of has to,
right.
Or the narrative's going to change a little bit,
Indeed. Okay.
He's the best quarterback remaining of the AFC teams in the playoffs right now.
At least the most experienced. So yeah. Okay.
I might argue I might argue he's still the best. I mean, looking at some of these other teams that are there, I mean, I take him over T-Law. I take him, I love Herbert. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not an idiot. I take him over Herbert. I take him over.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, I know you were. I take him over the Steelers, Rodgers. I mean,
I mean,
there's none. Stroud, you're taking him over Stroud. Like, there's no one.
You're taking him over May, Knicks. I mean, yeah, Allen is. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree.
I guess my only pushback to that would be the fact that he can't. Typically in the playoffs, he can't do it all himself because you're going to play nothing but good teams. You can't get away with some of the things he get away with and play Superman against that Texas defense. Prime example. The Texas defense is not going to allow for him to be able to do the things that he does in most games. They had, what didn't they beat him?
The Texans beat him, but I mean, how many times you see an offense completely change the script in the rematch, and it's a totally different game,
Yeah, but
talking about the Houston Texans. I had my hat ready for you. I had it ready. Yeah, Houston Texans. And I'm going to see them this weekend. So there's a little prelim there.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, their offense and their run defense especially scares me. If they get Ed Oliver back for the playoffs, maybe. But yeah, I have my doubts. I'm not unsold just yet. But yeah, I think if you don't get it done, McDermott's going to be calling the question. Will Josh Allen, because of the rise in what New England's doing, will he ever get it done? Is that division even theirs anymore? There's a lot of questions there. If they don't get it done in 2025, for sure. I'm there with you. All right, Captain Jack, what have you learned so far in 2025?
That I can use my hats when I get a clue and get a cue. That I can put my hat on at the right time. Okay. And again, if you give me a straight line, I am going to use it for because I have done it a couple times to show. What I've learned is that, and I'm of a man, I will admit this. Okay. Before the season started, when AP went out, I said, of all the head coaches that were available at the time, I was pounding the fist, pounding on the table. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That sounds bad. I was pounding the table with my fist. There you go. That's better. That was a Freudian slip right there. I was pounding the table with my fist that Pete Carroll was the best coach available, and I wanted Pete Carroll. Oh my God. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Because we have the Pete has tore the Raider organization apart worse than what we had when AP was there. At least AP was, in spirit was a Raider. My God, Pete, I can't. There's no words for you. I'm sure maybe Violator has some, but I'm going to try to keep it clean because you take you get into this organization, and yeah, Art Shell says thanks, Pete. I like that. Cool, Kev. Art Shell is saying, hey, well, I'm not the worst coach anymore. You have your two Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and that's the cool version of his sons that came in there and just screwed that up. You screwed up a Chip Kelly offense by overriding what Chip Kelly could do. And I still submit that Chip Kelly was the best offensive coordinator available. But if you say that's funny. But you have Chip Kelly that would have done well things with the offense if Pete wouldn't have overwritten him. When the people were saying that we were game planning against Pete's offense in Seattle, not what Chip Kelly can bring to the game. And then one other final thing is that if you have a minority owner in that other guy that we've already talked about this show, Tom Brady, if you are a minority owner and you like to delve in the personnel matters of the team, you can't be a part-time person with the club, with the ownership that you have. You can't be part-time. You're either going to look with those pearly whites on Fox, or you're going to do something for the team. You can't be a part-time, I won't say the word, but it was the Foxtrot Tango. I've used it before. You can't be that. You're either going to be in on the team, or you're going to be doing that crap on Fox, okay? That's it. If you're going to do something, do it right, okay? I don't know if you can do it.
So, Cap, if Mark Davis came to you and Fox came to you at the same time, says, I'm going to offer you a minority stake in the team and $300 million to compensate 1 day a week, you wouldn't take that?
But it's not the 1 day a week shit. Sorry. It's the I apologize.
We're past the threshold.
We're an hour in. You're good.
I try not to. I swear, because I respect. I try not to swear unless I boil over. But I get it. But the thing is that he had the thing lined up with Fox before he became a minority owner.
Yeah, he did.
So he had the Fox thing.
Well, the $300 million might have gotten him a minority stake. He might have had enough money now to invest in the Raiders. So
true. That's true. But I'm saying that because he can't do things correctly, you're out of. Remember, because he's that Fox guy, he can't be in on all of these different things. So basically, I'm saying because he's a minority owner, it's also screwing his availability to be the best commentator he can be, because he's excluded from walkthroughs. He's excluded from coaches meeting because he is a minority owner. Would you not say that that job is interfering with the other job as well? You can't do both effectively.
So you're saying he's a walking conflict of interest?
Oh, beyond. That's the very nice way to say it, Coach, and I'm glad that you said it that way.
Okay.
Well, you know what they say, you never half-ass something. You always go full ass in whatever you're gonna do. So
I'm all
ass or no ass, all right?
I'm all about getting full ass, man. There you go.
You can't just have one butt cheek in the Raiders office and the other one in the commentator's box. You gotta go full.
You gotta be clinched. Spread. You can't spread the cheeks.
Close the door softly. Close the door softly.
Oh man.
Oh man. That's a holiday spirit. I love it. That's a holiday spirit. You gotta laugh.
Sorry, because it's gonna. I should have had this. If you're gonna, when you brought in Pete, and I apologize because we should have always gone out. Always go out on the high note. Pete says we're gonna win. We're gonna win a lot of games this year. We're gonna win a lot of games this year. When we were rebuilding, you can't shove both things down the throats of your fan base. This was a rebuild year, and Pete, I'm sorry, Coach, you fucked up the rebuild, Pete. You did it.
You just delayed it. You ain't messing up too bad. It's just delayed.
He's got a top 5 pick. I'd say he's did a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's doing your solid.
Yeah.
Like DZ said, he's doing the Lord's work. He's gonna have a top 5 pick. He's doing the Lord's work for you.
You know what? I'm just gonna say I haven't seen enough from the Chargers to go to the championship game. I think that if I'm gonna put it between the two AFC West teams that are making the playoffs right now, I go to the Mountain High Club on going farther.
I'd agree with that, just because of they're healthier, they have a way better O line, and they definitely have a better defense. So I would give you that. I think the Chargers right now think they're happy to be where they're at 10-4, given the injuries they've suffered this year.
They're happy to be at the party. I mean, it's nice to be at the party. We were there, like years and years and years and years and years ago.
You took one step in, and they're like, "All right, sir, it's time to."
Oh, by the way,
that might be us.
You're not on the list.
I do have a sign, at least the idea for a sign for the very last game, and hopefully it gets on TV. I already got it with that was put out on another show, so hopefully it gets on TV. I got it right here. I just got to get the card. The card.
All right, Violator, good sir. What have you learned in 2025?
I've learned that I really don't know nothing about this drama mystery that's called the NFL. Now, 55 years I've been watching this game, and as of late, and maybe the game has passed me by, because I'm looking at something totally different on the field. Tonight we were talking about controversial calls. Is it targeting or not? Do you want them to make contact or not? So what I've learned is that they're making the league soft as some warm butter, and it's a turnoff for, I guess, OG fans like myself who watch the game for the violent hits. And I know player safety, they would come after me for saying that, but I watch it for those hard hits. And like I think RG said, the defenses are going to dominate in this next decade.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They twisted it so it's an offensive. That's the glitz and the glams. But without defense, you've got nothing. That's what people watch for when it comes to playoff time. Who can stop that juggernaut? So without a defense, you're just out there doing tennis, back and forth. So to me, that's not exciting football. You got to have that adversary that comes in there and drops the hammer on people.
Okay. All
Otherwise,
right.
let them play in those big bubble suits.
Yeah. They just wrap them up. This is a hilarious video, by the way. I just want to point that out. It's a hilarious video.
Yeah.
Hilarious
let them
video.
play in that, you know?
Yeah. Indeed.
They should do that for the Pro Bowl.
That part. Yeah, that'd be entertaining.
I'd be more entertaining.
I would watch it.
Yeah.
I would watch
Book
it.
that, stamp it, we're sending it in. We're going to get our money.
Indeed. Pay the man.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Mike Dub, what you got? What have you learned in 2025?
One thing I will learn, and I'll be honest, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll stand up and say it. Early on, I wasn't a believer of the Denver Broncos. What I have learned is that I have to put some respect on the Denver Broncos. Listen, they have won in a lot of different ways. They've won blowouts. They've won close games. They've won against some playoff teams, some playoff contenders. They won against, potential trap games, divisional games, all those things like that. They've won throwing the ball. They've won running the ball. They've won playing defense. They've won winning the turnover battle. There's a lot of things that you can say about the Denver Broncos that I wanted to say throughout the year. They haven't played anybody. It's not impressive. It doesn't look good. It's ugly, whatever. But one thing that I have learned that I have to do is when teams find different ways to win games, you have to believe them. So we've seen it in different teams that have won in the past. We've seen it with the Chiefs in the past. Certain games they won and certain teams that they had when they won the Super Bowl wasn't the prettiest. We've seen it with the Eagles. It wasn't the prettiest. We've seen it back in the day with the Patriots. It wasn't the prettiest. But when teams find ways to win and when organizations find ways to win, you have to believe them. So one thing that I have learned is that trust, the Broncos. There's still an ounce of me that is looking at their opponents and looking at the situations that they've been in and how they've been able to, pull out some of these games. But I will say what I have learned is that going into, the second, I guess, the playoff push, when I see the Broncos, I have to respect them. No matter who they're playing against, I have to respect what Sean Payton is building there. I have to respect the guys that they have in that building. And I have to even give, Bo Nix his credit when he plays well. So I've learned that I gotta look at the Broncos as a serious contender, not just obviously to win the AFC West, but to possibly be a Super Bowl contender in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean they're playing dominant football, and I would have to say, and to your point, I got to give Bo Nix his credit and give him his flowers. He played a hell of a game against the Packers.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
I mean, you can't underscore that enough. You can't don't overshadow that fact that he played good quarterbacking. He quarterbacked that game really well in Denver over the weekend, because I have my questions about his ability, because I was going to say that I think I might have asked a "Do you believe?" question at one point in the year. Can they go far with his inconsistent play in that kind of space? But what the heck was happening? Okay,
wanted to give us all Dub.
Right.
Highlighting Dub.
It hurt him. It hurt him talking about the AFC North earlier.
This guy's spitting fire. Put him on the full screen him.
Right. So yeah, I think that you have to give him his flowers and give him his credit where credit's due. And Sean Payton's doing a hell of a job coaching, man. We talk about no big time superstars in this team. Everybody's bring their lunch pail, they're doing their job, and they're winning a lot of ball games. And if they continue with that path and that trend, with the AFC being as wide open as it is, they could definitely be in the mix. They could be all the way into the Super Bowl. Who are they going to face in the NFC is up in question. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that the Broncos is as good a chance as any to make it all the way to the Super Bowl for sure. They're playing good ball. Can't deny it. Can't deny it at all. For me, man, what I've learned is I have to let people really understand that your boy coach defense is a slow kill. Being so real, sometimes I'm a slow kill. But when I tell you about something, write it down, make a note of it, because it's going to come up later. It might not be right away. I might be early, but I'm not wrong a lot of times. So I talked about the Rams. That's my hot take at the beginning of the season, and that's tending to pan out. In that particular space. I also said something about the Texans. I said the Texans, if they can figure out enough and be competent enough on offense, that defense is going to be able to carry them to the promised land. And right now, at this particular point in time, they still got 3 games to play, but they're in the playoffs at this moment. The playoffs started today, and I think halfway through the season, we kind of wrote them off because the O-line was in flux. They had to figure that out. Once they got the right combination together, they got Woody Marks as their feature back. They got the synergy with the receivers, got CJ Stroud back off injury, and the defense playing lights out. They're a dangerous team. They're a dangerous team for sure. So, in that space, so, I think I've learned that, although my takes are sometimes hot at the moment, they tend to pan out, so like I said, sometimes I'm a slow kills a little bit, a little bit there. But yeah, but definitely, what the Rams are doing, what the Texans are doing, those are some dangerous teams. And I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs personally. Either one of them right now. And the Seahawks, we'll see on Thursday night. They might be in for a rude awakening. We'll see. But we'll get into that. But yeah, great segment, guys. I appreciate everybody's honesty and their transparency and what they learned in the 2025 season so far. All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about Do You Believe? Let's get into our rolling segment here, one of our best and brightest segments on the pod here. So we got first reaction to questions that I have for the panel. They don't know the questions beforehand. We're going to get their honest takes and their first reactions to what I'm going to ask them. And I got some good ones here. As apropos as a segment, if you've been watching this over the course of the podcast this season. So, all right, I'm going to start with Real AG this week. And I talked about the NFC West front runners in regards to what the Rams are doing. But for the Real AG, real quick, do you believe that Sam Darnold's inconsistency will cost the Seahawks?
Yes, I do. Yeah, 100%. And I think we're, like, as you said, as we get into later preview of games, I think we're going to see that Thursday. But, I think I've said that a few times as we've covered the season, that he's just playing too inconsistent for me to have faith in them going far. He's thrown picks in very pivotal moments of key games against perhaps playoff preview type matchups with the team they're playing. And he kind of caves under the pressure at the end of games. So, just with that alone, as good as their defense is and as opportunistic as it is, I don't have faith in them going far just because of their quarterback. I mean, quite literally, their last against 40-whatever-year-old Phillip Rivers, their kicker had to make, I don't even know, he got me like 30 fantasy points. I wasn't mad about that, but like, holy hell, like
Right.
You got that type of defense going against a QB that quite literally just got up off the couch after chilling for 5 years, and the guy you paid $100 million to can't outperform him.
That part.
That's tough.
13.5 point spread going into that game, by the way.
That's
they never covered the entire time.
They're 100% gonna make a movie about that. It's happening.
If he would have won it,
Now it's happening either way, dude. I can feel it. I'm writing the script as we speak.
We got big things in the work on this network. Just let you know, we got big things in the works. Just it's coming.
I call it Crying Rivers, a comeback tale.
Damn.
There you go.
Lawyer / scriptwriter over here. What's going on, Alex?
He's multifaceted, multi-talented, man. He does it all. He does it all. Indeed. Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. I'm going to roll over to Violator on this one. So we talked about the Buffalo Bills. And a lot of people, and I'm not gonna point the finger at anybody on this pod. I don't think nobody was singing their praises high, but there's a lot of people on social media, halfway through the year kind of wrote the Bills off. So do you believe that people sold their Bill stock too early based upon them winning New England and their trajectory towards the playoffs at this point?
Wow. Do I believe they sold their stock too soon?
Yeah.
Yes. Because, like I say, that defense is still, to me, it's still porous when it comes to the run game. And most teams that have a good running attack are going to take advantage of that by shortening the game up. And so Josh Allen, he's always puts his cape on this time of the season, but I'm thinking somebody has a pair of scissors that might clip that cape a little short this year.
That's not out of the realm of possibilities. I'm saying, it only takes one. And you got some good defenses, the Broncos defense, the Texans defense, just to name two, that can really put a damper on his production. So if he can't be the end all be all for that team, they could be sitting home at some point. And to Alex's point earlier, what better chance than now with no Mahomes, no Burrow, the guys that have been throwing to your side, no Lamar, the guys that have been throwing to your side for the past, several years have been in your way, quote unquote. They're not there. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. We'll see.
For him, this is kind of a do or die season as far as advancing in the playoffs and possibly getting to the AFC championship game.
Okay.
This is the year, I think.
All right. You're right. I think you're right. Okay. All right, RG, I got you up next. So we're going to take a ride up to Cincy as we talked about Joe Burrow and that Bengals team quite a bit. Do you believe that Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor are back in Cincy in 2026?
Hell no. Both of them, no shot. You cannot miss the playoffs 3 straight years. I get it. There was injuries, but you cannot miss the playoffs 3 straight years and expect to have the same quarterback head coach duo run it back. Absolutely no way. I think what's crazy is this wasn't even a thought at the beginning of the year, but the fact that Burrow might be the one that gets shipped off or retires, whatever the hell is going on.
Ask for a trade.
Yeah, he might pull a Carson Palmer and say, hey, I would rather retire than play another snap for this godforsaken franchise. So we'll see what happens with that, but ain't no way they bring both of them back. The Bengals would be just borderline insane. Yeah, that is a good question. What's Burrow's at cap? But yeah, Bengals would be borderline insane. Yeah, probably more than Tua's, and Tua's probably more realistic to get shipped off than Burrow is. But yeah, ain't no way they bring them both back.
Well, how about $91 million in dead money?
Yeah.
Well, do what the Broncos did. Split that up into 2 years.
Yeah,
you're gonna once you ship them off, you're gonna be in a rebuild for a minimum of 2 years anyway. So
easily.
You might as well.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, Captain Jack, I got one for you. We're going to talk about Josh Allen again. Outside of his team's accolades, you're muted, Cap. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, is that 46 and 45? 92. 40. Oh, so 40 and a half and 40 and a half. That's still a boatload. Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot. So outside of his, team accomplishments and what the Bills are doing with that major win they got against New England over the weekend, did Josh Allen's performance, do you believe that his performance over the weekend has re-entered him into the MVP conversation?
Wow. Okay, I'm going to be ignorant. I don't even know who's in the competition this year, because you remember that stuff of like what we know and what we don't know.
Well, right now,
I don't know who's
are Matthew Stafford and Drake May.
I think Josh Allen's in third, right behind them as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say because thank you, because I was like, man, who's been good this year? And thank you for getting the old man brain to go. Is he in the conversation now? Yeah, because of what he did beating the Patriots. By the way, I picked that game. It won me some money.
Did you take Chargers plus 5.5 as well? I would have won you some money too.
I actually did win money on the Chargers. We'll get into that.
There you go.
Good man.
But I was going to say, did it put him into the conversation? Yeah, but only because, when you have like the Heisman Trophy guy, you have to have like 4 guys up there. They need to have like, this guy and this guy and this guy.
Right.
But I doesn't matter. It's like it's going to go, in my estimation, it's going to go to Stafford with May being a nice number 2.
Okay. I like it. All right. That stuff. I agree too, by the way. I think that's how it's going to go. I agree with that. All right, Dub, you're up. So talking about the AFC South again, do you believe that the Houston Texans are the most dangerous team in the NFL?
Ooh, the NFL. Yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. Well, I guess I'm yeah, I know. I'm thinking potentially, but you said dangerous right now. And
would you want to play them in the playoffs? Like,
nah, you wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. The defense is real. It's the real deal. They're hard hitting too. They're not just forcing turnovers. They're going to make you. They are going to impose their will, and that means a lot. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that has teams scared. I wouldn't even say scared, but that's the reason why you wouldn't want to play them, is because that defense really imposes their will, and really anything can happen in that aspect. And then they still have a capable quarterback and a capable playmakers, and Nico Collins and some of the other guys on the offensive side of the ball. So the potential is there on the offensive side of the ball. I think Stroud can do it, and like I said, Nico is always a threat. But the defense is really what makes things happen. And because this is not a year where you have anybody really standing out as this is their year, they're going to take it, and this is all of that. Anything can happen, and the Texans are one of those teams that you don't want to see, like I said, because their defense they're going to take that game into their own hand. This is a defense that they can win without their offense stepping on the field. They'll score points themselves.
So that's not far-fetched at all.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So this is a team that I could definitely see them going into the playoffs and scoring 14 points by their defense and setting their special teams, making plays, and your defense only giving up 10 points and still losing the game. So I definitely will say they are dangerous.
I like it. Okay, good stuff. All right. Okay. RG, you got anything for me?
I got you, Coach. Funny enough, obviously, like we mentioned before, this topic, as always, we never know these questions beforehand. These are just right off the dome, just your raw take on it. Funny enough, my question to you was going to be, do you think that the Bengals are going to have Joe Burrow on their roster next season? So had to do a little bit of a pivot.
Okay.
However, I had a backup plan ready. Yep. Pivot. So my pivot question to you is, do you think that, and his name is escaping me right now, but the Bucks head coach,
Todd Bowles.
You think Todd Bowles will be the head coach next season for the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the Buccaneers are in a weird space. I think they have the luxury of having a bad division, so it kind of makes them, people have more expectations than they should normally have. If the Falcons and the Panthers were better, I think we won't be talking about them dominating and all a guaranteed playoff team this year because they're going through I guess I won't call it a renaissance, but it's a
reformation,
a turnover in a maturation period. Yeah, with their they got some young talent. Baker is clearly the guy. They're bringing in some some youth with Emeka Ibuka and Bucky Irvin being a revelation for them. They didn't expect O-line shifts from what the Tom Brady years to what Baker has. Tristan Wirth being the only stalwart on that team. So the defense is outside of Vita Vea. They got a whole in Levante David, who's long in the tooth. I think they've all been, they're all young guys that they're trying to develop. So I think the Todd Casella idea that I need another free agency period and another rookie draft to really round out this roster and get us to the point where we're, the favorite in the division again. Because we talked about the Panthers sniffing their heels and we thought the Falcons would be better, but we didn't think anything of the Saints, obviously. But I think the
Saints fans did.
Yeah, right. They absolutely positively.
Appreciate that, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. But outside of them, nobody had any faith. But yeah, so I would say that I think the management, I think the ownership in the Tampa Bay is, and I think they do believe in Todd's abilities. And I think they'll give him another go at this. It hasn't gone as well as they thought they might, because of injuries. To me, I think injuries really would derail this ship, pun intended. But I think that they outside of that, I think Todd Bowles is fine. I don't think he gets fired in the offseason at all.
May I?
Go ahead.
Only because I live here, in fake pirate land.
Yep.
They are already. They've been calling.
Yeah, they've been calling for his head.
They've been calling for Todd Bowles' head, and especially if they don't make the playoffs this year. If they don't make the playoffs this year, he gone.
Yeah,
he gone.
That was going to be my stipulation that I was going to ask you too, Coach. Was like because as awful as the year's gone, it's going to come down to these two games against the Panthers. They haven't played them at all this year. And the Panthers went from beating the Rams one week to getting swept by the Saints the following, or in a couple weeks after that. So
right,
my 2 cents on that is if the Panthers squeak that division out, I think Bowles has to be gone because there's no way you lose the division to them and still keep your job. No way.
Yeah,
and only because I watched the news here, I just wanted to make sure, Coach. I'm an insider in this respect.
I got you, and I don't think that the ownership, pays complete and utter attention. It weighs heavily on their decision making when it comes down to the newspapers and the fans. Because that's the case, then they would be doing things much differently, and people will be quote unquote out on their asses much sooner. Because fans call for your head on a 2-game losing streak. So I mean, it just depends on who you're talking to. But so I don't think that is going to be the end all be all to say they get rid of Todd. But I do believe that if they do end up not making the playoffs, there will be some exit meeting conversations and saying that what direction are we taking this thing? If we don't like the direction, then maybe we'll make a move. But we talked about this last week and a couple weeks before that. You fired Todd Bowles. What's your succession play?
Yeah.
So
only because
they made the playoffs every year. He literally made the playoffs every season he's been a coach there.
That's
so
true.
you can't just fire a guy and bring another guy and expect him to be the same if you don't have a good and complete succession plan. And then, quite honestly, the coaching cycle hires this year aren't that strong. It isn't like it was a year or two ago where you had a bunch of candidates that will work immediately. Harbaugh 2 years ago, Vrabel this year, you don't have those.
Ben Johnson. Yeah,
right. Ben Johnson, you don't have the hiring cycle this year is weak, in my opinion. So unless you have a surefire, this guy's going to work and be better than Todd Bowles day one, then you would at least give him another year.
Well, the only thing is, Coach, and again, only because inside information, it's been last year and the year before. So he's been squeaking by. He's been squeaking by when they do make it because of Baker. Okay. So it's not just this year type of thing. And I actually like Todd Bowles in the fact that when they shit the bit against the Falcons, his press conference.
Oh, it was great.
Unless that was all AI.
No, it wasn't. It was him.
Okay. Well, good. Because that was what needed to be said. And that's why I said that's what Pete Carroll needs to do is actually lay it on the line like that.
Resonates in the locker rooms when you have that level of transparency and accountability. That resonates. and they see it. So I think that again, I guess unless you have a rock star coach that you can just know he's going to work.
Someone else gets fired.
Yeah, right. That part. Yeah, that kind of thing.
But I would just think it would be, if they don't make it, the manner with which they didn't, because I mean, they literally last 2 games losses to division opponents, and then you have these 2 against the Panthers. So if they come to a screeching halt and don't make the playoffs in that manner, I could see why a firing would be in place. Not that I'm saying that's the right move, but I could see why they would do it.
Yeah. Okay.
But remember, Mike Tomlin might be available too, Coach, and Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy is all in good with the folks down here in Tampa Bay. So that might be the guy that comes down. If Dungy has any say in it, and Bowles is fired, and then Dungy and Tony talks with Mike, said, "Hey, why don't you come down and be a little bit warmer in the winter?" You know.
Yeah. Possibility. Okay, well, at least you have a quarterback, that's not aging and old and on his last leg, that kind of thing. So yeah, maybe we'll see. All right, gentlemen, another good segment for Do You Believe? Let's move on down the line and cover forecast. Let's get our games in the week before we gotta get out of here. So good games on the docket here. Got 4 games that we're going to discuss briefly. Quickly, quick rapid pace. Get our picks out of here. Thursday night. I mean, it's starting off right out of the gate. I think we got Saturday games this week. We got Sunday games, Monday night. So we got a lot of games this week for football. Leading up to the holiday season. So they got the Rams going to the Seahawks, the Pacific Northwest, up there in that cold area of in Seattle. So Rams are favored by 1.5 on the road, ironically. So all right, so our degenerate gambler, let's kick it off with him. What do you feel like in this game? Who are you picking and why? Rams or Seahawks?
Taking the Rams 100%. I would even take the Rams if you guys want to try to make a little bit of extra money. I'd take the Rams like -6.5. I think the Rams are gonna put an end to the Seahawks Sam Darnold hope. I think the Seahawks are still gonna make the playoffs. 3 teams from the NFC West are probably gonna make it, but yeah, man, I think the Rams are just too good. The injury to Adams does scare me a little bit.
A little bit.
That is definitely something to keep an eye on. So maybe I might retract that statement about taking -6.5. But yeah, I think the Rams should win this game. It's just Sam Darnold, man. I don't trust him in big moments, and even in little moments, apparently, against a 44-year-old guy who was on the Hall of Fame ballot this year. If he's barely, he's not really able to outplay him, what makes you think he's going to outplay the MVP frontrunner this year? And to answer DZ's point, I think it's just Adams who has a really good job. Yeah, Puka is fine. Yeah, so yeah, Adams is probably going to miss this week on a short week. But you just want to get him healthy for the playoffs. But yeah, I think Rams take this one.
How's your Puka?
It's pretty Nakua.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that. Let's see what you did there. All right, Alex, who you got? Rams or Seahawks?
Rams.
Okay.
No doubt. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Captain Jack, who you got? Rams or Seahawks?
I have the Rams, and I put down the 6.5 thing, and then all of a sudden you said don't do that because I can't do that on my bet here, but I can guess I can do that. Oh, I can't do that in Vegas. I'm in Houston this week, so I don't know how I can parlay that. Maybe what 3?
I'm -2.5. That's a good one to take because I think they can win this by a field goal for sure. But yeah, I think the Adams injury is gonna bring me back down to earth a little bit.
Okay, I'll see if I don't know how I do that. I might have to call you on like what I can do on Hard Rock to put numbers on it. But yeah, Rams for sure.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Valerie, who you got? Rams or Seahawks?
Rams.
Okay. All right. Dub, who you got? Rams or Seahawks?
I'll take the Rams. I don't think the Rams lose again.
Oh, I think.
Damn.
All right. Here we go. There we go, Dub. Okay. That's right there. You heard it here first.
Sorry.
What was
There we go.
There it is.
It is.
I tried until the real one came in, so there you go.
Indeed. Okay. Yeah, I'm with me. I picked the Rams to go all the way, so I'm riding with my boys. So
it would have been hilarious after all that talk about the Rams. You're like, I'm taking the Seahawks. In this.
I know, right?
I got a feeling about this one.
This 1.5 makes me cringe. No, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking the Rams for sure. All right, another interesting game here. For the division lead, I think, if I'm not mistaken here, the Packers at the Bears. Chicago was cold as shit last week, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
Such language.
I'm
Such
sorry.
language for the kids.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
The kids should be asleep right now. It's
We're
11
we're 2 hours in. They better be
Yeah,
asleep.
it's 11 o'clock. They should be in the bed. But Packers -1.5 on the road going to the Bears. So what say you, RG? Who you feel about how you feel about this game?
I'm taking the Bears, man. I can't believe the Packers are favored after that Micah injury. They're on the road. They've already beat the Bears once this year. So you know how I feel about, a divisional team sweeping another one. I think it's very tough to do, especially when you have to do it in the opposing team's home. Right. And the Bears have just been on a roll lately, man. That run game without Micah there, that run game might put the Packers away for good. We're talking about, them missing the playoffs entirely. They lose this game, they're very well on their way.
They're going to catch the Badman guy, according to Cap.
Yeah,
and it'll be Swift.
Yeah,
oh, double whammy, baby.
I'm on one today.
Definitely are. You ate your Wheaties today, sir. That's all I can say. All right,
you guys taking all my material. Damn it! I like that.
I told you to be around you too long. It happens, Cap. You gotta accept it. You gotta accept it. The teacher, the teacher, the student is coming to teacher. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh no!
I am the master.
No. The students are just good this week. I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
Nobody could take Cap's role as the masturbator, though. That he's got that one. He's got that one locked up.
Indeed. You just
well,
oh Lord,
what'd you do?
Let's see.
That was it, so I can ask you a question.
He's Tom Brady in right now. Cheeks all over the place.
Oh man.
All right, AG, who you got? Packers or Bears?
Yeah, I'm feeling the Bears too, man. Kind of the same sentiments RG was saying. I think just with the injury to Micah, the injury to their interior D lineman, and the state of the Bears rushing attack right now, I see them winning that game.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Cap, who you got? Packers or Bears?
I got the Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my!
Okay, all right. Good stuff. I like that. All right, Violet, who you got? Packers or Bears?
The Bears.
The Bears. All right. Who you got, Dub?
So I got the Bears. The only thing I'll say, remember I said I'll start believing in the Bears when they start running the ball, when they realize their identity is not with Caleb Williams in their running game. They realize it. Yeah, I'll go with the Bears.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to be that guy, so I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna do it for selfish reasons because I lost Patrick Mahomes as my fantasy quarterback, so I'm rolling with Jordan Love.
You need it.
Bad move. Bad move.
Jordan Love to be spectacular this week. And I think I played DZ. So if you in the chat still, Jordan Love all the way, baby. I'm riding with the Packers in that 1.5. Damn it, I gotta have it.
Hey, the Bears lead the league in takeaways this year. They might be more leading the league in takeaways this year.
Don't say that. I don't need that. At all.
But you put that evil on us, Robert.
Exactly. Right. Put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Yes, indeed. Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, talking about the fake Pirates, the Buccaneers and the Panthers, first of two. And this one is in Carolina, another cold, frigid game for the warm weather Buccaneers. So, although they're favored for -3 on the road again, there's a lot of road favorites here this week, if you notice that. So, the Buccaneers are favored by -3, RG. Who you got, Buccaneers or Panthers?
Kitty go meow. I'm riding with the Panthers, man. I said at the beginning of the season, they were my pick in the NFC to go from worst to first. Patriots, obviously, my pick in the AFC to go worst to first. That one maybe a little bit more muddled there, but yeah, I think Panthers. I don't know what'll happen week 18 when they play each other again, but I do think for the first time the Panthers will kind of surprise the Bucks in a way that the Bucks haven't really seen yet.
Okay, good stuff. All right, AJ, who you got, Bucks and Panthers?
I got the Bucks. I'm not feeling too hot on the Panthers. I think they're going to fold under the pressure here of the NFC South title staring them in the face. So I feel good with the Bucks and Baker and the returning receiving core and Bucky Irving back. Everything's getting right at the right time.
So you said the Panthers going to fold like a weak-legged iron board. Okay, I like it. Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, Cap. Who you got? Fake Pirates or the Panthers?
Yeah, see, I got the question on this one. I said, and Alex basically said the right thing. their receiving room is now chock full, and with Bucky Irvin back, what I want to know is, do you think that they cover the 3?
I would take the 3 regardless, because worst case you probably push. Because even if the Panthers win by last second field goal, that bet, you get your money back from that bet. So I think 3 is a really safe bet here to take with the Bucks minus.
So I take the Bucks. Mike, again, I'm not as adept at this. That's why I got to.
That's why you have Robert.
That's why the degenerate gamblers here. I got you.
I'm not degenerate, but I'm getting there. By the way, I cashed out on the bet early. I had the friggin' Knicks to win, and I was looking at a parlay, and I didn't think the parlay was going to win. I had the Knicks to win, and I would have won like an extra $25-30, and I cashed out early. Fuck it. Sorry, I have to say.
Welcome to gambling.
That was perfect, Kat. That was perfect.
I had the wrong bet. I said, no, I'm going to lose.
Hey, man, I had $250 in free bets from DraftKings that I put out last week. Lost every single one of them.
Wow. Brutal. You just got people losing their ass all over the place here. This week.
Not my money, but
no. I got 15. I got 16 of the 25 back, but I thought it was the parlay that I was catching out on. So I could have had an extra. So basically, right now I'm only down 7 for the night. So that's not bad.
Not bad.
Okay. Yeah. So you take a Bucks minus 3, getting back on track here. You take a Bucks minus 3.
Yeah, Bucks minus. Okay, thank you. So Bucks minus 3 is what I do. Okay, thank you.
All right, Violet. Who you got? Bucks or Panthers?
I'm taking the Bucks in this one. Like you say, the receiving room is healthy. Bucky Irvins is back, and Baker's gonna bake. So there's my cooking food reference right there.
There you go.
I got the Bucks with the minus 3.
We're gonna put the Panthers in the ovens. What you saying?
Yeah, Panthers in the oven. That's it.
I like it.
Okay. Hot kitty.
Nothing wrong with a little hot kitty. I live personally. That's why I like mine. I don't like mine cold. So
hey, don't tease me like that. Don't tease me like that.
We're getting real close to some kind of comment here. Dub, what do you got?
Thank you.
I'm going Bucks. I think they get back in track. They need it.
Okay.
They need it badly. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna do it again. I got football. I got Taylor Roman Miller in my fantasy football. He's starting over Mekabuka, so I need Taylor to go off. So
Let's go, Coach.
Panthers. I went out right and screwed the points. Bucks not covering that minus 3. So yeah, we're rolling with that. All right. Last game on the docket. Jaguars, with a surprisingly, epic matchup here. Could be a playoff preview. Jaguars going to Denver and facing off the Broncos this week. And the Broncos are favored at home by minus 3. So you got RG, Jaguars or Broncos?
As much as I hate to admit it, and Coach, I thought really, really about going with your strategy here and saying that I really just need the Broncos to lose. So I'm going to go with T-Law. But, man, I just don't think that T-Law is going to be able to overcome that good of a defense. The last 5 weeks, the last 4 weeks, the Jags haven't played any good defenses. I mean, Jets last week, Colts before that, Titans before that, and the Cardinals. So it's going to be a real big wake-up call for Trevor Lawrence. I think he had 6 touchdowns this past game.
He did.
I don't think that's happening again. I got Broncos, and I'll take the 3 on this one as well.
Okay. All right, good stuff. Adrian, who you got? Jaguars or Broncos?
Jags, baby. Duval. We're riding with it. That was going to be my hot take of the week before I saw what the games of the week were, so I'm staying with it. I have a feeling Jacksonville Jesus continues to go on this quiet little tear he's been on.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Captain Jack, we got Broncos and Jags.
Jacksonville Jesus is going to freeze his choo-choos off, okay, in Pile High. Okay.
What's the estimated temp here? Let's look at that.
Let's talk about it.
I'm trying to see.
Come on.
NFLweather.com.
61. Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh, that's not terrible.
Good.
61?
And then
in December. Yeah.
Really?
Global warming, guys. It is real. No, I'm just
I got partly cloudy and 50 on NFL weather, but still, that's still warmer than normal.
maybe it's giving me the temp right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees on game day. 50 degrees on game day.
Oh, hell, that's golfing weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not bad. 50 degrees in Jacksonville. Ooh. I'll still take the donkeys, but I don't know. Given 3, yeah, I think they'll cover that. I don't know. I tell you what, but Jacksonville Jesus is he's gonna go get all of his weed up there anyway. So there you go.
Wow. Jesus and weed in the same conversation. All right now.
You can be looking like Uncle Rico.
Oh Jesus. Oh wow.
Oh my God.
If you didn't get that reference, Google it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. All right, Violator. Who you got? Jaguars or Broncos?
Man, look, weed aside and all that, I got Broncos in Power High against the Jags.
Okay, good stuff. All right, now,
Two power highs, man. 2 power highs. There you go.
We got Jags or Broncos.
I got the Broncos. I'm gonna start believing in them now. So I got the Broncos.
You can't break down what you learn and not ride with them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. All right, I'm doing it 3 times in a row. Trifecta. I'm going with Travis Etienne, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, what are you smoking? You got that stuff from Colorado already?
I'm trying to win a fantasy football championship here, Cap. It is go time here. There's no more politics. There's no more, there's no more, even keel.
Personal interests.
Okay.
I'm
So basically,
here. I'm all about fantasy football playoffs.
Thank you. So what I'm saying is you've actually proved the point. Being a fantasy guy, you say, well, if I have this happen, I can win my league. So I'm going to be stupid and pick games that are purely fantasy football stupidity. Thank you, Coach, for showing me that I am correct.
Well, I don't care if they run or lose, to be honest. I just need Travis Etienne to go off.
Yeah.
You don't be clear about it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. But if he has 30 in fantasy, that's a win for me.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
I would also add that RJ Harvey's banged up, and they might have to roll with Jaleel McLaughlin as their feature back. That could impact things.
It could.
I hope he's not for fantasy reasons for myself, but
right. But yes, and the Jaguars defense is really good against the run, and they're just really good overall at taking the football away. So it's not going to be easy for Bo Nix either. So we'll see. But yeah,
I don't care if Sarah McLaughlin is playing or not. Okay, the Broncos are going to win.
Is that the rescue
of the angel?
Yes.
Just 2 cents a day.
Yes, you can say.
Hey, remember, I used to use that a lot when we were doing Wild West. Come on, that's
in the arms of the angel. Yes, I got it. Okay. All right. So those are your games of the weeks. We'll see how things shake out. But yes, I'm fully invested in fantasy right now. I'm not hiding it at all. All right. So as we wrap the show up here, let's get into our 4th and final segment here as we wrap it up here. Hot takes of the week. Now we've been dropping hot takes all pod. So I don't know if anybody has anything left in the tuck that you want to break out before we end the show, but we'll give our lead to see if anybody has any more hot takes to break out before we get out of here. But this is our hot takes segment. We give our hot takes for the week or the rest of the season, and this will be the moments for you to express to the fan base what you feel like is a hot take that could come to fruition here shortly in an NFL. Anybody got anything that they want to broach to the fan base?
Browns taking down the Bills this week.
Wow.
What was that?
Browns taking down the Bills.
Wow.
That's pretty hot.
That's smoking.
That's psychotic. That's not hot.
I'll even add on to it. Myles Garrett breaks the record this week as well.
That's a given. That's a given.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
I got one. Well, the Lions have a chance of not even making the playoffs this season.
That is definitely a possibility.
Because of the position that they're in right now. They might be out of it altogether.
You're talking about Detroit. Detroit. What are you talking about, Detroit? I had my hat ready. But I did another one here. I just wanted to wear this one because it's so cool.
I love it. Cap showing off his hats.
Right.
Well, mine was the Jags we're gonna beat the Broncos, but for the sake of pivoting for the show and for my inner working screen right here, I got Father Philip Rivers taking down the Niners Monday Night Football.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Grandfather Rivers takes down the Niners. I like
Old man
it.
Rivers. Okay.
I like it. Well, I was going to say the opposite. I would say old man Rivers, as much as I love him, he's not going to win a game in his comeback. that was going to be my hot take.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
get a
already
chance
said,
to
yeah.
talk about my damn moonshine, the Tennessee Tide moonshine. I had my hat ready, but I didn't have nothing to say other than this. So the hell with it. Moonshine.
I'll throw one more little wrench in the hot takes. I think besides Chiefs fans, obviously, the next person who was the most upset about Mahomes getting injured and ultimately the Chiefs missing the playoffs this year is Sean McDermott. Because now, if you blow it in this playoffs, questions will be up your ass, is all I'm going to say.
I think it's going to be out on his ass if he loses this go around, personally.
That's a hot seat right there.
That is definitely a hot seat.
I think they got his desk packed up before the clock hit 0.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if they're in the away game, you don't get back on the plane, sir. we'll FedEx you your stuff. That's for sure.
Cool Kev is that definitely smoking some Colorado weed too.
All right. I got a hot one that kind of plays on what we talked about earlier about Joe Burrow. I think Zach Taylor gets fired and Joe Burrow still requests a trade.
Wow. Both out of there.
Out of the coach and the quarterback in 2026. That's my hot take.
Damn.
That's a total blowout right there, man.
I'm saying he probably deserves it because just being cheap in his own interim, you get what you deserve. Get what you deserve. So
I saw a rumor of him possibly coming to the Raiders, but that's just people are throwing. They're just throwing stuff against the wall right now. But hey, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't. If you got Joe Burrow as a quarterback, you go from Geno to Joe. That's a great
hell of an upgrade.
That's the first right there.
Absolutely.
Now remember, my hot take was the fact that Jameis is coming, but no. But we see if Joe Burrow retires, he's got to be on his couch for at least 6 months before that happens. Because the last time we got Carson Palmer, he was on his couch for at least 6 months before his buddy got him to play for the Raiders.
Well, that's a contractual thing too, because if he retires, he comes back, they own his bird rights while his contract is still active.
Yeah.
And he's on a contract for another 4 years.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I don't think he retires. I think he's out of Cincy. That's my take.
God, the quarterbacks in the AFC West, if he went there, God damn.
Gauntlet. Ugh.
That part.
That's gonna be rough. Definitely the best coach.
Denver would have the worst one.
I know, right? Go figure, right? Be the best coach and the best quarterback division in all of football. That's for sure.
Yep.
All right, W, got anything else? I know you had a hot one from earlier, but
No, that was my one. Is I don't think the Rams lose another game.
I like it. I'm riding. I'm riding. I'm rolling. I'm rolling. All right, cool. All right, good stuff, gentlemen. Another great show, man. Another great show. Man. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So as we wrap the show up, as always, man, if you're looking for the Hit Squad, looking for the gang, if you want to hit them over on socials about Commanders news, Chiefs news, or Chargers news, hit up Coach Mike Dub, hit up the Real AG Alex Gibbons, and hit up the Young RG, Robert Garcia for those questions. Hit them over on Twitter or Instagram if they're on the platform. If you're looking for the NFL Nation Live group, Ref Guru on Twitter, Violator on Twitter, Captain Jack Rackham on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hit them up in any space, any time for referee questions and or Raiders insight. They will be there right there to answer those questions for you, as always. If you're looking for the Lockdown Divas Sports Network in any facet, we're on all social media platforms that are popular on your smartphones outside of OnlyFans and Snapchat. We got X,
working on it.
We got Twitter, X is formerly known as Twitter. We got Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Get the YouTube algorithm know we're doing big things out here as always. And if you're looking for our subsidiary channels, we have our Chargers pod, Electroshock Podcast. Hit us up on that space, and we're on all major platforms on that space as well. Hit the subscribe button on that for all Chargers related news. Each and every day we drop videos there. And if you
for all you delusional people
that pick
stupidly on games just because, oh, I need Travis Etienne to go off and give me 30 points. Well, for all you people out there that are way, I can say it now, way fucked up in the head, be sure to hit up your lightning fast fantasy football information podcast with those guys, because then you too can be delusional. And I give it back to you, Coach.
Indeed. So if you're looking for a fantasy football concise playoff advice, and if you're looking to get to that goal fast, the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast is where you want to be. So hit us up on all our social media platforms, Lightning Fast FF on all those platforms, as well as YouTube. We drop a live show each and every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. We go live and direct, me, myself, and the real AG, Alex Givens. So we'll be there tomorrow, dropping our playoff knowledge for you to get you ready for the second round matchup, as always, man. But yeah, man. So like I said, another great show. That is going to do it for us this week. And we appreciate everybody came through and tried it up with us for this 2 hour plus. And we're going to hold it down as always. Happy holidays for those guys that are, celebrating holidays early, for our Hanukkah group.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah already.
And those guys that celebrate those holidays early. And we'll be back next Tuesday for another show for the Lockdown Blitz, man. But until then, that is young RG Robert Garcia. That is Captain Jack Rackham. That is the real AG Alex Givens. That is Violator, the man, the myth, the legend himself. And that is Coach Mike Dubb. And as always, I'm Coach Defense. Until next week, we'll see you when we see you. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down.